Hello, Owens Speaks. If you're new here, like, subscribe, share. Today I want to talk about a crazy story that came up um, about a woman in the UK. I'm gonna play the video. There's no reason to talk about it much, but it's definitely a free speech issue. So the topic of today's live is from Liz Kinney to Candace Owens. The UK assault on free speech is spreading to the United States. I think whether you pay attention to politics or not, you know what's going on with Candace Owens. If you don't, I'm going to go in depth as to exactly what I believe is happening. I'm going to do a live stream on Monday about Candace Owens stuff. The second story on this live is also going to be Candace Owens, but it's not going to be what's about to happen between her and Erica Kirk. That's Monday for sure. I will send out a reminder. That's going to be a great live stream because I figured it all out. And I would love for that guy, Miles, who hit the panel the other day, and Poodles, who hit the panel the other day, to hit the link on Monday. You can hit it, I guess, today, but I don't want to talk about the Erica Kirk, Candace Owens saga, what's about to happen, because that's going to be great. It just started yesterday. That's going to be great. So without further ado, Lester, what's going on? Miss Just J, what's going on? We're going to start with the video, and then I have another instance of something that's happening in the UK over free speech, and then we're going to talk about Candace Owens, because that is the story of our lifetimes. She's doing something that is, well, again, I'll get into that on Monday. So let's start with this video. And Tucker Carlson was talking to Piers Morgan, and this is the conversation. Let me pull this way. And I'm going to drop the link if anybody can talk about either this free speech or later on when we get to Candace, because I know people are going to want to talk about that one because that's a huge story. Play.
Kinney from Tranmere. Have you heard about this? She's a mother of four. I think she's a nurse, and she gets beaten up by her boyfriend. He beats her up. She goes to the hospital, and she texts someone, a buddy of hers, a friend of hers, a girlfriend of hers, and describes the man who beat her up and sent her to the hospital as a, quote, and she's arrested and convicted of a hate crime. The guy who beat her up is not arrested or convicted. And then she goes through this whole kabuki, which is now required, where she prostrates herself before the judge. I'm sorry, it was not a homophobic rant. By the way, you're allowed to be homophobic if you want in a free country. You can have any view you want. But no, because she used the word, she's arrested, and the guy who punched her in the face was not. That story tells you everything.
Well, I don't know that story. If it's exactly
Daily Mail, baby.
Okay,
Pictures of her and everything.
I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying I need to look into it. But if that is how you told it, obviously it's ridiculous.
Would you say the word on camera?
No.
Why?
So obviously the word is the Yagit word. Can't say the F word. That's the only reason why I bleeped it out. He put it on his page, but he had the ability to not worry about monetization. I'm working toward monetization. My watch hours are getting closer and closer. I've come really close. My problem is inconsistency, to be honest. If I were more consistent, I would have been monetized. I kept getting close, and it's on a rolling 1-year calendar. The watch hours are. So I was putting in the work last year, did really when I fell off. So now this year, all the hard work that I did last year as far as watch hours goes is falling off. So I'm kind of just doing this on monetization when it comes to watch hours. Anyway, with that said, he's able to play stuff that most people can't play because that video would not count. That video would either be restricted or I would probably get a flag for using the F word for the alphabet community. So every time it gets bleeped, he's saying maggot, Yagit, whatever you want to call it. That's what he's saying. So this lady, to what he just said, she got beat up by a guy. He did not get charges pressed on him, but she did for calling him a yag. That's the world we're living in right now.
You don't want to get arrested, do you?
Doesn't want to be arrested.
Because it's so harmful to people?
No,
is it like gay bashing? What's wrong with that?
No, actually, my whole issue with the whole trans debate, for example, is you don't need to slide into actually say derogatory stuff about trans people to make the point that women's rights should be protected. You don't need to.
Well, I agree.
So what, I don't believe.
No, but it's a magic word.
I don't believe in needlessly sneering.
Well, I'm not smearing anybody. I just think.
But why would you use that word? Yeah,
I just did.
But would you? Okay, but why?
And I'm using it because you're not allowed to. Because you're
I'm allowed to.
Go ahead.
I don't want to.
Say I love gay people.
I'm allowed to. I just choose not to.
This chick just got arrested for it and convicted.
Right.
So that doesn't have a chilling effect on your ability to.
There are people watching this who will be offended by the use of the word.
I'm sure
chick.
they will. I'm not anti-gay. I never have been. I can use any freaking word I want.
Offended by the use of the word chick.
Check. Okay, whatever.
Dare you be so sexist comparing women to chicks?
How about this? Let my life, the way that I actually live and treat people, be the testament to my heart. That's how I feel.
Right.
And if I've mistreated someone,
I don't
that
think
is
you, I don't believe. You correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe you would call a gay person a f to their face.
Not in a mean way. By the way, the only people I ever hear use the word f are gay. Ever. Just like the only people you ever hear use the N-word are black.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So if you spend any time around gays, and I have spent a lot of time around gays, who, of course, I work in television. I mean, half our staff is gay, and they're great people. And they're the only ones who ever said, he's a I'd be like, oh. I have no need to say the word. Actually, it's kind of an ugly word, to be totally honest.
You know the argument they use, which is...
Well, they don't use it. They use the word constantly. I've worked with them my whole life.
Well, I wrote a column, for example, about the use of...
But I'm not allowed to use it, but you are. I don't play those games, dude.
Listen, I got my point. I wrote a column for the Mail, actually, about the Washington Post did a huge report on this and said that every day, on Twitter as it was then, the N-word was used 500,000 times, but almost exclusively by young African-American men.
So it's cool.
Well, they would argue, and I understood the argument.
Yeah.
It's they've reclaimed that word.
I don't believe in universal rights either. I think certain standards should apply to certain people based on their blood, but don't apply to everybody.
What do you mean?
I mean, that's what you're saying, dude. The standards have to be absolute, or they're not standard.
I was about to make my argument. That I made
Sorry, you get me so wound up.
No, but I actually made the point in the column that I don't think that works. I don't think you reclaim it. What you actually do is you empower genuine racists to say, well, if they...
What's going on, Ms. Genesis? What's going on, Spare Me Your Angst over on Rumble? Jonathan Swift over on Twitch. What's up?
Using that word, I'm going to use it. And so I felt it was an entirely self-defeating reclamation of that offensive word. I would say the same to gay people. If you constantly use the F word in your own...
What's the F word?
Well, you know what? We've just been saying it. If you want to keep saying it, I'm not going to keep saying it.
It's worse than fuck, isn't it?
To a gay person, from a straight person, yes.
From a straight person, but not from the gay person?
Well, that's my point.
So I thought
I understand the reclamation.
Now, just listen to the point he made. I didn't have to censor the other F word, which is far more offensive in my opinion. But I had to censor the new F word. So I literally could play this and YouTube has no issue with this. Now, you might get restricted age-wise, but they don't have it.
I don't think that works. I don't think you reclaim it. What you actually do is you empower genuine racists to say, well, if they're using that word, I'm going to use it. And so I felt it was an entirely self-defeating reclamation of that offensive word. I would say the same to gay people. If you constantly use the F word in your own...
What's the F word?
Well, you know what? We've just been saying it. If you want to keep saying it, I'm not going to keep saying it.
It's worse than fuck, isn't it?
YouTube will have no issue with me playing that. But if I played the other word, I would get a flag. Or anyone could literally flag me for using a slur against the community. Now, to be fair, the N word is like that to an extent, but certain people can use that word. It's really interesting, and this is what they're talking about. I'm looking at the N word differently now because of how they're using words to control speech. Monday also, I'll be going over Nick Fuentes and some things that he's saying over this same issue, free speech. He says crazy things. And I'm starting to see the parallels between him and Candace Owens. Again, that's Monday's live. It's going to be a great live, really great live, because I've broken it down. I got him. I fully understand. But there's no reason why we can say fuck, but I can't say the other F word without getting in trouble. But when you're able to control legislation, you're able to control speech. This is where we go. This is the path we go down. You can say the N word on YouTube, but it depends. But under no circumstances can you say the F word. You could say it, but you can get in trouble on YouTube and you can lose monetization for that video. And sometimes you can get flagged for the entire channel. It is funny, isn't it, Lester?
To a gay person, from a straight person, yes.
From a straight person, but not from the gay person?
Well, that's my point. I understand the reclamation argument that they put up. That if they
reclamation,
that they're reclaiming the word and they're disempowering it.
It's fine. I don't care. I think that's kind of amusing, actually. I just don't
think it works. I think the more these words get used, then the more.
But is it really about words? I guess that's kind of what I'm saying.
I think it empowers people who are genuinely racist or homophobic to then use those words.
Okay, they're genuinely racist and homophobic. I don't care. Why don't you pick up the trash? Okay, that's kind of how I feel. And stop letting people from countries where they can't speak English come to your country by the millions. Like, don't the material things matter? Don't the actual things matter? Your father lying on a cot in a public hospital?
I do think that people, when they come to a country, should try and learn the language.
Of course, but what? I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just saying the whole debate about what words are allowed and by whom. is, first of all, insane because, again, standards mean nothing unless they apply to everyone because we believe in human rights, not group rights or ethnic rights. We're against that because we're against the Nazis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But it's also a distraction from what actually matters. If your dad is spending hours, I'm sure he was a Brittany, spent his whole life here paying taxes, and that's what he gets. It's like we should be having
completely unacceptable.
But it is acceptable. That's the problem.
No,
Instead, we're arresting that girl for saying,
well, the two things,
or as we say here, the F word.
Yeah. No, like I said, I don't know that story. I'll look into it. But I do. If that
She looks like a f to you. She looks too nice.
Okay. Come on.
sorry.
Behave yourself.
No, I can't.
I know you can't.
They're making me want to say that because it's so outrageous that you would arrest someone for a word.
I agree.
And like we actually have to put ourselves at risk to stop.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Well, then help me now. Let's have a moment of self-liberation.
I think you're beyond help.
Hold my hand. We're going to say together. You ready?
No, we're not.
Do you say gay and retard?
Huh?
Do you say gay and retard?
I say gay. I wouldn't use the R word. I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't.
Listen how insane this is. There's certain words that are just off limits, this is a perfect example of how insane society is becoming because you can say retard. You can also get in trouble for that, but less people are going to flag you for that. It's not as big of a deal, but a word against that community is completely off limits, even more so than the N word. Why? But what kind of persecutions, what kind of slavery, what kind of Holocaust did they go through? But that word will not only get you restricted on here, but in the UK right now, people are getting arrested over that word and sentenced criminally. You guys, I don't think people understand how serious this is because when we talking a little bit about Candace Owens, we're going down that path and our people are doing it. When I say our people, I mean Black people are doing it. Conservative, so-called conservative, people on the right, people on the left, they're all doing it, which means we are segueing to this. A lady got arrested for her getting punched in the face, but she used the F word, so he didn't get arrested. She did. This is dangerous. This is tyranny. This is fascism. Everything we've heard, all the slurs that we've heard and people calling each other these names, it's now happening. And you guys are going to start seeing what it really means. It's not a joke. It's not a name to call somebody. It's not something to make them shut up. It's actually criminally being prosecuted now.
Are you?
My choice.
Do you think it should be legal to abort a Down syndrome baby?
I'm exercising my free speech right not to use that word.
I totally agree. I actually don't use the N word ever because I think it's ugly. I just don't
so
like
by your own petard, you're being
I kind of agree. I'm mostly making fun to make a point. I actually think that we should not kill people because they have Down syndrome. I think they're beautiful people. And I think when you get to heaven, it'll probably be full of people with Down syndrome because they are pure in spirit. And I'm not joking even a tiny bit. I really believe that. But people who think it's okay to genocide everyone with Down syndrome through that alpha-fetoprotein test are lecturing me because I'm using the word retard. It's like, maybe we're...
So think about what he just said, because I saw people online making fun of him because they said, why is he talking about people with Down syndrome? They thought that he was being scatterbrained because Tucker does this really funny thing when he's talking. He'll just go off on a sidebar and come back to the conversation. They thought that's what he was doing, but that's not what he's doing. There's a reason why he asked Piers Morgan to use the word retard, because the very same people who are pro, not just pro-abortion, but pro-abortion for disabled people, because you can find that out now, I guess, ahead of time. They're pro that, but you can't say the word retard, or they want to deplatform you, get you fired. And in some cases, they're trying to prosecute. So that's a reason why he went off on this weird little tangent. Sorry. So he's going to say it right here. Are you okay with aborting Down syndrome people? Sounds completely random until you realize the context. Oh, he's talking about the word retard. And why is that more serious than unaliving Down syndrome people? I'm telling you, this is the path that we are on here. Just because this is the UK, that doesn't mean it's not part of the Western world. This is part of the free world. Free.
No, like I said, I don't know that story. I'll look into it. But I do. If that
she looks like a f to you. She looks too nice.
Okay. Come on. sorry. Behave yourself.
No, I can't.
I know you can't.
They're making me want to say that because it's so outrageous that you would arrest someone for a word.
I agree.
And that's another point. Sorry, I know I keep stopping. Sorry. It's another point, though. Can you really get mad at Nick Fuentes? Because his popularity is gaining. He's one of the largest streamers in the world. And the reason is this right here. Can't say the N word. Okay, that's fine. We don't have a problem. I had a troll come in here once. and he started asking a lot of questions about the N word. And the reason why I entertained it, because one, I knew he was trolling. Two, he has a valid point. When you tell one person they can't say something, but you can say it, you are now creating a resentment that probably wasn't even there to begin with. And now you have people who are trolls who want to say it just to get the reaction. And that guy, he goes from channel to channel to channel to channel. And that's all he asks. And then he does reactions to it. And I didn't know that's what he did, but I saw it after the fact. I'm like, oh, that's what he was doing. He was testing me to see if I'm going to be inconsistent. Now, am I going to get mad at the word? Yes. If you're in my face, or are we going to have a problem and you say the word? Absolutely. But the same can apply to the word, to the yag word, to the yagget word, to the maggot word, whatever you want to call it. If you say it to somebody's face, there's going to be more potential for repercussions. But you shouldn't get in trouble for saying the word. Now you have Nick Fuentes, who has no issue saying the word, and he's doing it to push buttons. He's doing it to make a point. And again, I'm going to go way more into that on Monday in that conversation. But you make people want to do things the more you tell them not to do them, and they're only doing it for the reaction. And they may not even be doing it because they're racist reaction. And that's not the same thing. So when we're labeling people, he's a racist, he's this, he's that, I still think he is. But we're blurring the lines by making words off limits, by attacking people's speech. When you call somebody Nazi, 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 you lose the potency of that word. So now everybody's a Nazi, doesn't matter. You can call me whatever you want. You can call me Hitler, you can call me all these things. That's because of the wordplay. And that came from the left, but it's now bleeding over to the right. And again, in a little bit, we're going to talk about Candace Owens, and I'm going to show you how that's bleeding over to the right.
And like, we actually have to put ourselves at risk to stop.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Well, then help me now. Let's have a moment of self-liberation.
I think you're beyond help.
Hold my hand. We're gonna say together. You ready?
No, we're not.
Do you say gay and retard?
Huh?
Do you say gay and retard?
I say gay. I wouldn't use the R word. I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't.
Are you?
My choice. By
Do
the
you
way,
think it should be legal to abort a Down syndrome baby?
I'm exercising my free speech right not to use that word.
I totally agree. I actually don't use the N word ever because I think it's ugly. I just don't
So
like
by your own petard,
I kind of agree. I'm mostly making fun to make a point. I actually think that we should not kill people because they have Down syndrome. I think they're beautiful people. And I think when you get to heaven, it'll probably fill people with Down syndrome because they are pure in spirit. And I'm not joking even a tiny bit. I really believe that. But people who think it's okay to genocide everyone with Down syndrome through that alpha-fetoprotein test are lecturing me because I'm using the word retard. It's like, maybe we're missing the real argument. That's all I'm saying.
A nursing home worker had been arrested and convicted, he said, for using that word in text messages about a man she claimed had assaulted her. As I said in the interview, it sounded utterly ridiculous. Ladies, in a string of examples of an assault on free speech in the UK. But I hadn't actually read the story, and I said I'd look into it afterwards. That's exactly what I did, and I'm pleased to say that Elizabeth Kinney, the mother of 4 who was convicted over her text messages,
is crazy.
joins me in the studio now. Elizabeth, thank you for coming in and joining us today for this debate. Just first of all, just to clear up exactly what happened to you, explain to me and the viewers what went down.
I was assaulted by a male acquaintance. And
physically or sexually?
Physically.
Physically.
Physically. It wasn't my ex-partner. It was a friend, like
sexually.
A group of friends. The female acquaintance that she was getting jealous over me because she started seeing my ex-partner. So she was trying to cause trouble for me, which ended up resulting in me getting attacked.
And this is a very valid, true point, Lester, but we need to think bigger, because that word people are wanting to say, and it's not because we're telling them not to say it. It's because society is telling them not to say it. And they're only going to start doing it to troll. Now, again, there's going to be physical consequences if you say that in person. But we need to start looking at that and saying, okay, if we're limiting this speech on that word, we have to be okay with limiting the speech on the F word, the yag word. And why is their word more protected than ours? Because we use it. And if we use it, now you have an algorithm that has to go through, okay, this is Ice Cube's YouTube channel, it's okay. This is Nick Fuentes' channel, it's not okay. That's not how it works. That's just not how it works. Yeah, South Park can do anything they want because it's cartoons. That's what it is. So they're able to get away with absolutely anything. What's up, Mike? Mike Levin. Yes. So we are no longer a protected class. And this is why I've been saying forever. I did lives on this. I did videos on this before I was on YouTube. We think we're a protected class, we're being replaced, and the very people who are replacing us are the ones who use our plight, slavery, civil rights movement. They use us to get this power, and they've surpassed us. And it's not that power is not a good word for us to use because we just want rights. They want power. They want power over speech. They're able to control your mouth from saying a word, and they use your pain, your blood, your ancestry to do it. And it's so diabolical. People use that word. I don't think they understand what that means. And I'm not being cynical at all. That was the intent, to gain power, not to get rights, not to do any of that other stuff, because they got rights when they got their rights to marry and all that other stuff. That was never going to be it. They now have a mafia who will enforce. And that's where we're at.
After that, obviously, I went to the hospital and I sent her messages and pictures of my injuries, just to prove like what she'd caused. And obviously, I was very upset at the time. I'd had a like inflammation on my brain. I had a skull fracture, which made me not really feel like myself at the time. I was very upset, and I was very angry with what had happened to me, which made me like say messages that I really wouldn't have said.
So you sent her a load of messages. I mean, would you categorize them as abusive, highly abusive?
It was more just to pointing to the fact that what had happened to me. I only just sent her pictures of my injuries, and obviously said like, why would you cause this much trouble for me and stuff, and make up lies, and like, which now resulted in me being attacked. And
she then reported you.
Yeah.
For what she said were harassing messages.
Yeah, it was a 5 minutes period of time when I just.
How did you feel when the police contacted you?
Well, I was shocked. I didn't expect that. I mean,
because these are private text messages.
Throughout my life, I've had messages with my friends, and we've fallen out, and we've said things that aren't very nice to each other. But you would never really expect that to go any further than that.
I've heard 11 police officers turned up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd left my front door open. I was waiting for my dad to come to the house. I was actually in the bath.
And 11
they opened the door themselves.
And just came in?
And came in.
And you were in the bath?
Yeah.
And what did they say to you?
Well, I heard my name, which was one female out of the lot of them.
And 10 male officers?
Yeah. And then I heard my name, and I thought, well, it might be my sister, because it didn't sound like someone who was, because obviously I was upstairs in the bath. And then they just come up the stairs, and they didn't give me any privacy or anything. Like I had
You were naked?
Yes.
So this lady had her home raided by 11 police officers, 1 woman, 10 males, because she used that one word that's off limits. She's naked in the bathtub, and the police raid her home, not because she said it publicly, which wouldn't matter, not because she said it to somebody directly, because she texted someone, called someone else that name. She called him a yag via text. She didn't call it to him. She told somebody else that this guy is a yag. So a third-party offense. This is where we're heading, and I'm going to prove it. But just think about that for a second. You could say the N-word all day. Nick Fuentes has gotten popular off of saying the N-word. But if you use this word yag overseas, you can be arrested. Not only arrested, they will break into your home and take you.
How did that make you feel?
Disgusted. I'm really upset. I was crying my eyes out.
And what did they say to you? What did they say they were there for?
Well, I was just asking them, can they just leave the female officer, and can they please go downstairs? As obviously I was upset, and I had no clothes on, and they kind of wanted to watch me get changed, and I was very upset about that. In the end, they did send the males down the stairs, and the female officer sat with me. I was crying my eyes out. I was really upset. And then I said, well, what are you even here for? Because I was shocked. I was in utter shock. And she said, for malicious communications, hate crime and malicious communications.
Mother of 4 had her home raided by 11 people. 11 police officers while she's naked. They finally sent the guys down. Okay, I guess you guys can go downstairs. Let her get dressed. But she's already naked. She's got 4 kids, I think he said. 4 kids. She used the word yag in a private text message to somebody. About somebody else, not even to the person. And this is where we're at. Yeah, HR has taken over the UK. Hurt feelings are absolutely more important than reality, apparently.
communications. And I said, well, what for? And she's obviously, they said, we'll discuss that when we get to the, basically to the police station.
So you go to the station and then they outline that it's these messages you sent to this friend that you've had this argument with, all connected to the fact that you yourself, as you say, have been assaulted. I'm not going to get into that so much. Is one of the more inflammatory things about this whole story, which Tucker Carlson picked up on, was in the course of these text messages, you use the F word. We've already said what that word is. He repeated it many times. I choose not to say it. You can do what you like. But that word, did you intend it in the messages to be a derogatory, homophobic slur?
Absolutely.
Because that is the alleged crime, is that you were promoting hate towards gay people by using that word.
Hate towards gay people by using that word in private to somebody who's not gay. And what difference does it make even if she did mean it? Why? That even the question is absurd. But this is a crime in the UK.
A lot of my friends are gay. I am not
Shouldn't have to do
homophobic in
this.
any way, shape or form. The word in question is a word that in our town where we live, we associate that word with somebody who, well, mainly males who hit females. Like, it's never a word for a sexuality. It's always a word where we live in our context, as in, like, basically a weak person. For instance, my brother's best friend got sent off the pitch in football last week because one of the guys fell over and, you know, he called him that name, but it was just a joke. But he got sent off the pitch because, but in our context, like, it just means, like,
and you got a
weak.
heavier. I mean, in the end, you pleaded guilty. First of all, why did you plead guilty?
My solicitor told me to.
Right.
And I've never been into trouble before, and I was really concerned about.
You had no criminal record.
No.
Because the malicious communications offences, which is under which you were prosecuted, such as sending grossly offensive messages, can receive a hate crime sentence uplift if motivated by hostility towards a protected characteristic like race, religion, sexual orientation, or disability. So you got an uplifted sentence. They basically said you had committed a hate crime by using that F word, which, given that you had no intent to be homophobic with it, for the reasons you've outlined, just seems preposterous.
Yeah.
In a private text message to somebody
I didn't even say to the person.
who you were angry with because you had been assaulted.
Yes.
I mean, has anything happened about the assault?
When I was in the hospital, the police were called by the doctors and nurses, and everyone in question were arrested at that given point. Then I ended up getting arrested a week after that.
And what's happened with the...
No one ever came back to me to discuss that. No one wanted statements from me. They were just obviously more, it seemed like they were more...
There's been no
concerned.
prosecution?
No.
So the fact you were assaulted was deemed to be less serious, it would appear, than the fact you'd used this F word in communication, private communication.
She had a fracture in her face, and she's the one who had to face the criminal charges.
With this woman you'd had a falling out with.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that?
Very, very disheartened and upset. It's destroyed my character as a person. I've been a care assistant since I was 17, and I want to be a nurse. I like helping people. I want to save people's lives. I have got a good character. As obviously, I'm still working in my post now. My managers haven't let me go for the reason being they know me as a person.
They stood by you.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's got my back in this.
What reaction have you had from the community?
Everyone's had me back, and everyone's been so supportive. I mean, I've not heard one bad word said about this whole. That everyone's just as disgusted as I am. How far it's got.
I didn't even know it could be a crime.
Neither did
in
I.
a private message,
Neither did I.
Use language like that.
Neither did I.
What do you think it says about free speech in this country?
Well, it's not as heavy as it is in America, but I believe that.
Hear that? They think that we have it bad over here because they see the left trying to censor everybody. She thinks that they have more free speech than we do. When I heard her say that, I'm like, huh? Not as bad as here. You're not getting arrested. But we are heading that way. And I'm going to show you again with what they're doing with Candace Owens. This is crazy. It's not as bad as it is over there.
Disgusted as I am, how far it's got.
I didn't even know it could be a crime.
Neither did
in
I.
a private message,
Neither did I.
Use language like that.
Neither did I.
What do you think it says about free speech in this country?
Well, it's not as heavy as it is in America, but I believe that.
Actually, it's better in America.
Yeah.
This would never have happened in America.
Yeah.
Their First Amendment protects your right to be offensive if you want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not, it's one thing if you came in and said, I said all these things and I stand by it and I wanted to be homophobic. That's one thing. But you clearly, you were angry because of what had happened to you. Mm-hmm. You were in a hospital getting treatment for injuries sustained in what you say was an attack. And I don't know, obviously, about that side of it, but I'll take your word for it. And then you have 11 police officers charging into your home as you're having a bath.
It was very, very frightening. I probably I've had nightmares and everything about it, and like I've got cameras on my house and stuff. I keep them on and make sure the doors are always locked now, because it's not even the public that anyone needs to be scared of these days. It's the police.
Did you think you might go to prison for this?
Yeah.
Did they warn you might?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. 5 to 10 years.
That's what they said you may get.
5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years for saying yag it, maggot, whatever you want to call it. 5 to 10 years for using a word. Now, when they were describing the law, it is against the law to use racial slurs. But here, the yag word is already more potent, like I said, than the N word here. You better not say anything about the Jewish community. I'll just say that. You can't use any slurs against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the maximum sentence you could have got.
For hate crime.
Again, I mean, what were you feeling when you heard that?
I was devastated.
You've got kids.
I was devastated.
4 kids you have?
Yes.
How
4
old are they?
kids.
15, 12, 9, and 3.
I mean, it would have been devastating.
It was. And it still is now, to be honest.
Right. I mean, you end up, you're pretty guilty. You got a sentence to a 12-month community order with requirements. You undertook 72 hours of unpaid work and 10 rehabilitation activity days, and you were ordered to pay £364 in costs, about $500. So you didn't go to prison in the end, which must have been a great relief.
Yeah, of course.
When you look back on the whole thing, though, what do you feel about it?
I feel upset. The fact that I feel like I'm scared to I'm even scared to say the word now. That's why I'm saying the word in question, because
Well,
I
that was
don't
Tucker
know.
Carlson's point, and the reason he kept saying it to be homophobic. He was saying it to make the point that he was in England and he didn't care about whether somebody was going to arrest him. He was suggesting that I didn't want to say it because I was fearful of arrest. That wasn't the case. I don't like using that word full stop,
Neither do I.
because gay friends of mine say it's offensive to them, even though many of them use it. But it's the same argument as the N word for black people, right? They use it amongst themselves to reclaim that word, as they put it, and I understand that argument. But if a white person uses it at them, it's obviously a disgusting, racist slur.
Yeah.
And I think we all know that, right? What's extraordinary about this is I was talking to my team. None of us realised that using this particular word that got you into so much trouble in a text message could ever lead to a potential prison sentence in this country.
Neither did I. It was shocking, and I'm still shocked now, if I'm honest. But obviously, I just believe that we all need to be careful with.
Well, do we? So that's an interesting question about this. Do we need to be careful, or do we need to fight back a bit about this? Is it right that you're sitting here too scared of saying that word, even in the context of talking about what happened to you, and not as a slur? You know, we live in a free democratic society. You should be able to say it in the context of what happened to you without fear of arrest, it seems to me. And yet I understand why you don't want to, because you were told you might go to prison for 5 to 10 years.
Not just that.
When I used to get into an argument with my wife early on in the early days, 60, 70, 80 years ago, I always told her I don't care about intent. Now, in the court of law, obviously intent is important, but how can they prove intent of this young lady who's got a smashed face, fracture in her face because a guy hit her, and she still can't call him that name? I used to tell my wife, I don't care about intent. And it wasn't, I was trying to get her to understand, when somebody runs somebody over with a car, it doesn't matter if they meant to do it. The person who's laying on the ground still got hit. That's where we're at right here. They're trying to, actually, they don't seem to care about intent, but I don't like hearing that word intent. I don't care about intent unless it's in a positive realm. Because if it's in a negative realm, you're saying, essentially, you can determine what the word means based on what you think the person meant. So in a positive, realm, obviously you give a gift, you're intending on doing something nice for the person, you should be grateful. But in a negative way, me saying a word can be many different things. You can interpret it any way you want and then cast malice onto somebody. And in this case, criminally. That's insane.
Obviously, it's not in my character. I did that after the assault, when I had a brain injury, and like you don't act like yourself. You act
brain
out of character
injury
when you've had an injury to
What did your gay friends say about this?
I've had some beautiful messages from one of my managers as well, saying that they know I am not homophobic, 100%. I am the most kindest, loveliest person. and to not take any notice about what's been said about me, and that everyone knows, and they've all got my back, and they're all on my side.
Did any of the police feel uncomfortable about this when they were?
No. Nobody's even asked me, am I okay after the attack? Nobody.
That's crazy.
No one's followed up on
No.
the attack at all?
No.
I just find that extraordinary.
So do I. Especially in the courtroom when I got charged, and the judges, nobody. The judges could see the pictures, the messages that I sent with the injuries, which were quite bad. And still, I wasn't asked, was I okay?
Absolutely extraordinary. Elizabeth, thank you for coming in.
You're welcome.
I'm very sorry about what happened to you. Not least because you're just being very honest. You said, you had 5 minutes of rage because of what had happened to you. You lost your mind a bit, used some intemperate language. You regret it. You wish you hadn't done it. But to go through all that in England in 2025 seems to me absolutely outrageous.
It is.
I wish you luck with everything.
Thank you.
And with
Thanks
your
very
career.
much.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, so before we get to this part here, this is so insane. This is the case of Joey Barton, and I want you to look at the caption. Joey Barton sentenced for grossly offensive social media messages. And this is his sentencing, because in the UK, I guess that's what they do. He got sentenced for offensive tweets.
Your purpose, or one of your purposes, being to cause distress or anxiety of the Malicious Communications Act 1988. You were unanimously convicted of these offences, counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and 10, by a jury on the 7th of November.
Let me be clear, because I laugh when things are absolutely absurd. I'm not laughing because it's funny, even though it kind of is. It's funny that they let this get this far. It's not funny because it's gotten that far, if that makes any sense. In this country, we cannot let this happen, but we're promoting it. And again, we're almost there to start talking about Candace Owens. Just because you don't like something, you need to think it all the way through. We talked about this when they were prosecuting Trump and doing all that stuff. It's like, all right, you guys, you're okay with it now because it's favoring you. And this is going to be my argument to Black people. We're okay with it now because we can say it and other people can't. But we're getting to the point where they can. And now, if you use the YAG word, it's being flipped back on us. There's no safe haven here. We need to stand up for people, even if we don't like them, even if we disagree with everything they do. Words should not result in this.
2025, following a trial before me. You were acquitted of 6 other related counts. These offences arise from a series of posts you made in January last year on the social media platform X, formerly Twitter, where at the time you had more than 2.8 million followers. You used that very large public platform to target 3 individuals, Ms. Eniola Aluko and Ms. Lucy Ward, both highly experienced former professional footballers and respected broadcasters, and Mr. Jeremy Vine, a well-known television and radio presenter. Before turning to the particular facts of your case, it is right that I say something about the nature of these offences in the context of a modern liberal democracy that rightly places a high value on the principle of freedom of expression, including freedom of speech. As the jury was directed, such a freedom is a cornerstone of our society. It guarantees the right of every person to exchange information, debate ideas, and express opinions, even those that are controversial, unpopular, or offensive. In a mature society, we must recognize that allowing people to express ideas that others find offensive is one of the costs of this precious freedom. But the mere plea of feeling offended by comments about one's choices or competence can never justify limiting free speech.
Listen to this contradict. Like, you can post a link, but I don't know if it's gonna let you spare me your angst. Oh, sorry. So there's 3 chats going on right now, and someone on Rumble asked if they could post a link. I won't be able to do anything with it. I won't be able to do anything with it. You can share it with me, and I can use it maybe Monday. I seen that. But yeah, if you want, you can share it with me. No one else will be able to see it because it automatically deletes links. At least YouTube does. I don't know. You could try and let me know if it works. But this is, just listen to what he's saying. He's saying everything correct, and then he's about to sentence a guy for speech while he's talking about no limits to speech.
To do so, would undermine the liberal and democratic foundation of our country. However, that freedom is not unlimited. It does not extend to communications which, judged objectively by the standards of a reasonable, fair-minded and informed person in our contemporary, open, just, multiracial, equal and diverse society, go so far beyond what is tolerable that they are properly described as grossly offensive. The criminal law intervenes only where that high threshold is crossed, but where the message is so extreme, degrading or dehumanizing that it exceeds what a free and democratic society can reasonably be expected to tolerate, and where the sender's purpose, or one of their purposes, is to cause distress or anxiety to the recipient or others to whom they intend the content to be communicated.
So if you can cause stress to somebody else, everything he said 2 minutes ago, or not even 30 seconds ago, goes out the window. Insane.
In this digital age, social media platforms like X amplify voices exponentially, allowing public figures like you to reach vast audiences instantly. But this power brings responsibility, robust debate, satire, more within permissible free speech. But when posts deliberately target individuals with vilifying comparisons to serial killers or false insinuations of paedophilia, designed to humiliate and distress, they forfeit that protection. As the jury concludes.
Now, in America, I can sue somebody for giving me, for putting that jacket on me, right? And there's civil ramifications. In the UK, it's criminal, meaning you can go to jail. So again, if somebody calls me a PDF file, I'm gonna sue. Most likely I'm gonna win, and I'll be able to show damages because that's something that can really, really harm somebody financially and socially. So I'd be able to sue and gain back damages. In the UK, you go to jail. And then they talk about intent. I don't know how, but that's how it works there.
Your offences exemplify behaviour that is beyond this limit, amounting to a sustained campaign of online abuse that was not mere commentary, but targeted, extreme, and deliberately harmful. And these convictions represent a clear rejection of your assertion that your conduct was merely robust debate or a provocative observation. Counts 2 and 4 concerned your online attacks on Ms. Aluko and Ms. Ward. On the 5th of January, in response to a clip of Ms. Aluko providing analysis during ITV's coverage of a men's football match, you described her footballing talent as pathetic and said, "Get them off the men's football. Only there to tick boxes. DEI, the BLM, George Floyd nonsense." This was a racially charged and sexist attack sent to your audience of millions.
Listen to
it
this.
asserted that a black female broadcaster held her position not through merit, but solely due to her race. A short time later, you published an image in which the faces of Ms. Aluko and Ms. Ward had been superimposed onto a well-known photograph of the serial killers Fred and Rose West, effectively equating two respected professional women with notorious murderers. This grossly offensive comparison was designed to provoke outrage, humiliation, and fear.
This is
Counts
crazy.
6, 8, 9, and 10 related to the 3-day sequence of posts directed at Mr. Jeremy Vine after he criticised your earlier posts about Ms. Aluko and Ms. Ward. Between the 8th and 10th of January last year, you repeatedly and deliberately labelled Mr. Vine a bike nonce, falsely linked him to known or alleged child sex offenders, including.
So that, again, here you can sue for. But telling a woman that to get them off the screen and get them off the field, they're not good at football or soccer, whatever. You see how far you can go when all the other person has to do is say, "I was offended"? That's why it's so arbitrary. That's why I'm not for it. Anybody can be offended by anything. So now this guy, so if I told Spare Me Your Angst, I said, "Oh, I bet you're part of NAMBLA." Okay, cool. Sue me. I deserve that because now I'm imposing myself on you. But if I just call him whatever I want to call him, I can call him any name I want to call him, that should be protected. Because I can say anything I want. Yes, Mike Levin. Here, you can falsely accuse the Duke, or he didn't say Duke, but you could falsely accuse a lacrosse team of the R word, destroy their lives, ruin their careers. They don't have a career. They're unable to get jobs. And the woman who accuses them, no big deal. And they can't sue her for money because she doesn't have any money. This is insane. But there, you can't even, That's a really, really good point. Because you can't call somebody, you can't say this person's part of NAMBLA, because all they have to do is prove that they're not, and you put something on them that is horrific. But you can accuse. I really do believe accusers, if proven malice, which is hard to do, so that it's a fair thing to try. If there's proven malice, or just they know they outright lied, and I'm not talking about mistaken identity or anything like that. I'm just saying they know, like this woman did. That girl in Duke, for the Duke lacrosse team, she intentionally lied, and then later on said, "Yeah, it didn't happen," and ruined all those boys' lives. There should be recourse for that. You should be able to sue them for that, just like any other. I think they should get the punishment that the other person would have gotten if they were sentenced. But that's
Rolf Harris and Jeffrey Epstein, suggesting he might have visited Epstein Island and urged the public to telephone the police if they saw him near a primary school. One post explicitly told followers, if you call 999, by any measure, these messages amounted to a deliberate and escalating campaign that falsely portrayed Mr. Vine as a paedophile and actively encouraged others to regard him as an immediate risk to children. All of these posts were obviously grossly offensive, and it's plain that each of your victims experienced very substantial distress and anxiety as a direct consequence of your actions. Each has provided a detailed victim personal statement that setting out in clear terms the profound impact of your conduct. That Ms. Aluko, an English international capped 104 times and an experienced broadcaster, describes your posts as misogynistic and racist abuse that unleashed a torrent of hatred towards her. She experienced fear, disgust, and profane engagements, hiring security and fearing for her family's safety, with lasting harm to her professional confidence. That she is clear that your attacks were at least partly racially motivated, targeting her as a black woman and inviting others to echo that hostility. Ms. Ward, a pioneer in women's football with more than 25 years' experience as a player, mentor, and commentator, describes acute humiliation, emotional harm, and professional undermining. Your dismissal of her experience as tokenistic and your comparison of her to Rose West caused psychological injury, loss of work, and a heightened sense of vulnerability for her and her family.
And here she would be able to sue if she could prove damages. So just so you know, spare me your angst. I got that link. It won't let me. I was trying to copy and paste it. It won't let me do it because it's in the chat, but I got that link. But yeah, here you sue and say, okay, how did this affect you? You can get emotional duress. I guess it's distress, duress. Is there a difference? You can get paid based on the person impacted your life and how much they impacted your potential for earnings. But there you go to jail again. This is I can't wrap my mind around that.
She questions why her gender should be used to diminish her achievements and highlights the wider harm that such conduct inflicts on women working in sport. Mr. Vine's statement details the terror of being falsely labelled a paedophile to millions, fearing for his and his family's safety, and enduring reputational harm from your sustained insinuations. He recounts months of disturbed sleep and an inability to enjoy his work or social interactions, and a pervasive fear that your statements had contaminated his reputation among people he had not yet met, forcing him into the humiliating position of feeling he needed to correct what others might now believe about him. The psychological toll was accompanied by a significant financial one, the huge cost of pursuing civil proceedings simply to stop these defamatory allegations. The maximum sentence for each of these offences is 2 years custody. I'm required to determine the seriousness of your offending, and in particular to assess your level of culpability and the nature of the harm you caused. There are no definitive Crown Court guidelines for this type of offence, but the magistrate's guidelines for communication network offences provide useful assistance in identifying potentially relevant culpability factors. Those applicable in your case include that the communications formed a campaign as demonstrated by wide distribution, were targeted to maximise their impact, and in certain instances were motivated by hostility on the grounds of race. In my judgment, those factors place your case in the higher culpability category. But there is also clear evidence, as indicated earlier, of greater harm having been suffered by all three victims. In terms of aggravating factors and taking care to avoid double counting, I'm satisfied that the offences against Ms. Aluko were aggravated by hostility based on race. I therefore state, as required, that these offences are racially aggravated and the sentences on counts 2 and 4 will be increased accordingly. In addition, your overall offending is made worse by the fact that you targeted 3 people, you actively encouraged others to join in the abuse, and you failed to desist even after public condemnation. You are not a man of previous good character. You have previous convictions for violence, but I do not regard them as particularly relevant to the current offending. I have considered the pre-sentence
Oh, nice.
report and the various references provided to me by your wife and by other members of your family. You are 43 years of age now. You live with your wife and 4 children at the family home, and you describe the relationship as supportive. That you now appear to accept the jury's verdicts and acknowledge that you crossed clear boundaries.
So they literally took this to a jury. This was a jury trial. Mr. Speaks, on May 13th of 2023, you tweeted. That's what we're doing here? They went to a jury trial. They had to give instructions to the jury. If this offends you and you find this tweet with malice intent.
Though the report notes that some elements of minimization remain. It records your long-standing difficulties with alcohol, which you say has contributed to poor judgment in the past, your history of childhood trauma and adult depression, and the link you draw between those experiences and your tendency to respond to any challenge with aggression. You also told the steps to moderate your online behavior. Well, only time will tell whether this resolve endures, or whether your desire to present yourself as some sort of social commentator, or perhaps more straightforwardly, your desire to drive engagement and subscriptions to your podcast, that will lead you to repeat conduct of this kind. Ultimately, that will depend on your willingness to exercise restraint and to recognize the responsibility that comes with the platform you hold. Joseph Barton, will you stand up? Given the gravity, persistence, and impact of this offending, I have no doubt that neither a fine alone nor a community order can be justified, and that the custody threshold is crossed. There will be concurrent terms of imprisonment for each of these associated offences, the sentences for each reflecting your overall offending and recognising the principle of totality. However, applying the imposition guideline and carrying out the required balancing exercise, I'm satisfied that it's not necessary for those custodial terms to be served immediately. In light of the steps you have taken, I am persuaded that there is some prospect of rehabilitation, that an immediate custodial sentence is not required to protect either the public or the victims, and that a suspended sentence order may itself operate as a deterrent against any future offending by you.
So he's issuing suspended sentences, meaning essentially parole or probation. I never knew. I always got those two confused. But essentially, as long as you don't tweet badly again, you're not going to go to jail. But if you do, we'll be watching your account, and then you will have to serve these terms that I'm about to lay out. That's what he's saying right here.
Now, for each of these offences, I impose a suspended sentence order of 18 months duration. On counts 2 and 4, the racially aggravated offences, there will be custodial terms of 6 months, and on counts 6, 8, 9, and 10, custodial terms of 4 months, all such terms to run concurrently, and all suspended for a period of 18 months. If during that 18-month period you commit any further offence, whether or not of the same type, you will be brought back before the court or all of that total 6-month period. That, of course, is not an end of the matter. For the next 12 months, you will be subject to a rehabilitation activity requirement of up to 20 days, and you are required to complete 200 hours of unpaid work in the community. This means that you must meet with your supervising officer as and when required, attend and cooperate fully with any activities that are arranged, and attend for work when and where you are directed. If you fail to comply with these requirements, you will be in breach of this order, which means that you will be brought back to court and may be given further requirements, fined, or made to serve some or all of the custodial period. In my judgment, it is also necessary to impose separate restraining orders in the case of each of the victims to protect them from further harassment by you. These orders will last for a period of 2 years and will prohibit you from contacting or attempting to contact Ms. Aluko, Ms. Ward, or Mr. Vine, whether directly or indirectly and by any means whatsoever, and from publishing or causing to be published any reference to them on any social media platform or broadcast medium. I have considered whether, in the cases of Ms. Aluko and Ms. Ward, I should order you to pay compensation. However deserving the circumstances, the law does not allow me to make such an order in the absence of clear evidence of personal injury or financial loss directly attributable to the offences. As for Mr. Vine, you have already substantially compensated him in the 2 related defamation actions, and I am aware that there are current civil proceedings involving a claim by Ms. Aluko.
So they already sued him civilly, I guess. I don't know how their court system works, but he's already had to pay out one of these people, but he still has to face that charge criminally.
Circumstances, I do not therefore make any compensation orders. You will, though, pay the prosecution's costs in the sum of £23,419.80, that sum to be paid within 28 days of today. You must also pay the appropriate statutory surcharge in the relevant sum, and I make a collection order in your case.
So he was sentenced essentially to probation or parole. I don't know how that works. Community service, fines, any violation gets him the prison time of the sentences. That's where that's what we're doing now in 2026. We're 2 weeks away from 2026 now. So Angela Stanton King. We're moving on from the UK to the United States. Angela Stanton King posted this. Let's do it this way. I know exactly why they're furious with Candace, and I see it. It's clear as day. And honestly, I couldn't care less who gets mad at me. People stay mad at me anyway. They're not upset because she's wrong. They're upset because Candace is ruining their plan. Now, this is her opinion. We're free to have those. Their whole strategy was to harvest Charlie's legacy and run the next two campaigns on Do It for Charlie and ride that energy straight to the election. But Candace pulled that curtain back. She exposed the plot. That's why they're scrambling. I don't disagree with this at all. In fact, this makes perfect sense because evoking Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk, the man died 3 months ago. And anytime you say anything about his old organization, they say you're tearing down his legacy. They want to use him moving forward because they need that youth vote. That's what they're going for. That's what they've been going for. And he was the only one who was able to harvest that.
Reality is that this is not a game, okay? Something serious is going on, okay? People are being assassinated, okay? And everyone's safety, first and foremost, needs to come first, okay? Whether you feel like Candace is a grifter or whatever, that don't mean that her life won't be in danger, okay? And it could be coming from a bunch of different ways. It could be coming from France. It could come from maybe she feel like she got enemies within TPUSA, or maybe it's somebody who may have donated money to TPUSA and feel like Candace has a lot of things to worry about. And what I'm saying, what my message is like to especially a lot of the black leaders, and I hate to make this about a race thing, but I'm finna go there for a minute. Like if we talking about, we in a fight or we in a war or whatever, and you talking about, being a guardian or an overseer of your people, like, I'm not finna capture Candace and hand her over. You know what I'm saying? For anybody to destroy her, right? Even if she did it to me, right? I'm not the black delegation that I roll with. Like, we're not gonna be a part of helping y'all capture Candace and destroy her. Okay, that's what we're not doing. If y'all want to get Candace and y'all want to bring Candace down and y'all want to destroy her, you're gonna have to do that on your own, right? You're not gonna get the help of me because you feel like I'm supposed to be a Christian or I'm supposed to be a conservative. Nah, I'm not standing with you with that, and I'm not gonna be a part of that. And I wouldn't hand her over just for speaking what's on her mind. Even if you do feel like she crazy, we ain't sacrificing nobody or hanging them from a tree or assassinating them because we don't like what they say. So if you call yourself, somebody that's being an advocate or a spokesman for our community, right? Get move to the side. Right? Mind your business. Okay. You ain't got to be with her, but you damn sure don't have to be against her. Okay. Now let's just talk about reality for a minute and being smart. Okay. Now, if I am Candace Owens and I have challenged you all to say we can debate anytime, any place, that mean I'm trying to get you to respond. That don't mean I'm finna get ready to pull up at your house with you and all your partners after I've watched every last one of you form vicious attacks against me online, against my character. I already know that I'm not in a safe place because you all have already formed every weapon against me that you possibly can online. Not only have you done it from the very top level of TPUSA, but you've even gotten TPUSA faith involved. And when preachers are using the word of God, right, to convince others to hate Candace or believe that Candace is evil, then Candace black ass is in trouble. Okay? Because see, now you don't just got to worry about TPUSA. You got to worry about people that are using an entire religion to make people think that you are evil. And the same people that they are trying to convince that Candace is evil probably believe that Charlie was evil, and that's the reason they took him out. So I'm not getting in your emotions of, oh, Candace a punk, or oh, Candace won't show up. No, Candace is smart. Candace is intelligent because she doesn't have to be in person for them to have the debate. And so if this is really about proving what has happened, answering questions that many people have, then it can happen whether it is online or whether it is in person. And I personally, I don't know what to believe because I wasn't there. And I ain't got none of the text messages or nothing. I'm just looking and watching like the regular, everyday, average American person. I might be a little closer because I knew these people. And yeah, I want to know what happened. A lot of us want to know what happened. And it ain't nothing wrong with asking questions. But if you think that I'm going to agree that Candace should go to a place where preachers have stood on, do you know what they did to Jesus? You talking about religion? They have used religion to say that not only she was crazy, but that she was evil. You think I'm going there? Man, go Candace. Candace, and then they need a whole team. She's by herself, not just one person. Remind me of the Breakfast Club. And a lot of you people are out of line. Y'all want to be God. Y'all want to bring vengeance. Y'all want to play God. Y'all want to silence her. Y'all want to cancel her. Y'all want to dictate what trap she should run into when nobody has been proven to be Charlie's ex. Nah.
And what's interesting, she's always the voice of reason. Whether you agree with her or not, what she says makes sense. You don't have to agree with the outcome of what she's saying, but what she's saying at least has a logical consistency to it. And this is where that's coming from. She said a lot of these Black TPUSA influencers who are suddenly using their platforms to attack Candace Owens don't even realize they should be thanking her. Let's be honest, if it wasn't for her, there would be no Blexit, no wave of Black conservatism, or Black conservative influencers, no Black TPUSA, anything. She opened those doors. She took the heat first. It's very easy to jump on that train now. And it says she made the lane that they're now eating off of. I said this before. I've been doing this since 2001. 2000. Not on YouTube, but I've been on the right against everything. All, not just odds, but the amount of names I get called simply for disagreeing with people and how I think solutions should be come to is insane. I mean, we're talking back when Larry Elder was coming up. There were no Black conservatives. There just weren't. So, and I don't call myself conservative anymore, but at the time I called myself a Black conservative. Why? Because I think the policies on the other side help the Black community way more than what we've been going through for the last 50 years. And that's it. I just disagree with how to get outcomes for our people. And for that, I get called a sellout. Whatever name they think are going to impact me, they really don't. But the fact that they try has always bothered me. It's not that they say whatever. It really does not affect me. What bothers me is when I'm going back and forth with a white liberal and they'll say something really racist, race traitor, that kind of stuff, and another Black person doesn't say, hey, whoa, what are you doing? Just like the N-word. They don't step in and say, we're not doing that. What they do is they bow to that white person who's racist and allow them to show their true colors. They allow them to pull out that whip because they agree with a talking point. That's ideology overall. So she says, the truth is many of them owe their entire platform to the very woman they're trying to tear down. I'm just calling it like I see it. And I agree. I agree with what she's saying there.
Listen closely. Something happened to me. Really what I want to say to all of you guys is go Max. Like all of you, everyone. Let it never end. Let it never stop. Like you be just as bold. I am telling you, it feels like when we are here on earth, that this is it. Like we just get 80 years. That is not true. Okay. Your ancestors knew that there was more. We are in this simulation where they have intentionally turned us into a godless society because they want you to be fearful and they want you to exchange your soul because they are of this earthly realm. You know what I mean? These are Satan's children. Obviously, these are Satan's children. And they work by making you feel fearful. And so you trade off and you go, okay, well, I just want to have money and be comfortable in this life right now. And so I'm willing to let badness happen. And I guess my kids are just going to inherit that badness and this world is going to be run by pedophiles. And we can't do that. And that's why I say to you guys, you should be going max right now. You know, you have to say the truth. The frequency of truth hits harder. And we hear these demons squealing. We just hear it. Like you can feel it right now. And yeah, they are dangerous. They are dangerous. But the truth will win. And the truth is more powerful.
Now, I'm not the perfect Christian. Yeah, I was raised in the church. My mother was a prophet and also a preacher. But I would believe that there's a scripture that says, he that hath eyes, let him see, and he that hath ears, let him hear. And what I can hear is the sound of the trumpet. And the bottom line is, choose ye this day, because there's a side. There's move all of the labels. It's good versus evil.
So what she's saying here is, please don't waste your time inboxing me, DMing me, trying to convince me to hate this woman, Candace Owens, or hating me, because I won't. I've lived through this cycle already. Folks hated me for supporting Trump, but then they hated me for supporting RFK. Here's the truth. I stand with who I choose to stand with for my own reasons in my own time. And once I make up my mind, you can't change it. Why? Where's all this coming from? Why is she saying all of these things? Right now, this is a thing. This is a movement. It's not just among Black people, but this just so happens to be happening between two Black women. This is happening all over social media, and I'm going to show that in a second. But this is that April Chapman crazy chick that I did a couple of videos on a while back. She is obsessed with Candace Owens. I mean, when I say obsessed, she is obsessed. What she told Angela Stanton King, which clearly means she reached out to her. Watching Angela Stanton King flip from Candace Owens is disgusting and a self-hating racist to let me fight for Candace and justice for Charlie is wild. We don't have to make you hate her. You already told us how you felt. That's what makes this so cool. That's what makes, in my opinion, Angela Stanton King admirable, because she's never gotten along with Candace Owens. They really had a past. And she's still willing to say, this is what I was talking about earlier, just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean you don't stand up for what's right. She's still willing to say, hey, I don't think she's being treated fairly, and I'm not going to cast her out because you guys don't like her. Even because I don't like her, I'm still not going to cast her out. That's way more Christian than this woman who claims to be this Christian. I don't know what she claims to be, but her normal content is about faith and Christianity. And this is who she is. The darkness and grifting that permeates these digital streets will go down in history books. This is why the big tent conservative movement is a messy bag of fake foolishness. Too many former scammer and clout chasers who reinvent themselves every election cycle like dollar store shapeshifters. If your convictions change every time the algorithm does, it shows you've never had convictions, just a brand strategy. These same folks who called Charlie Kirk a racist are now pretending to be his prayer warriors. Stop it. Nobody believes you. People are allowed to change their minds. The problem is when these political orangutans, that can't be said. No, that's not it. What did I say? Orangutans? Or a tech, I don't even know what that word is. Swing from bandwagon. I think that's supposed to say orangutan. I don't know what that is. Swinging from bandwagon to bandwagon. I think that's the word she's trying to say. I don't know what that is. Swinging from bandwagon to bandwagon, pretending it's discernment. No, it's desperation. So she directly attacked Angela Stanton King out of nowhere. Apparently, she reached out to her and tried to get her to, I don't know, call out Candace Owens.
Well, this bitch right here, April, just got cussed the fuck out. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I am so sick and tired of these fake, phony-ass fucking Christians. And let me tell you something. She called herself, calling me out on X, digging up old tweets, posts that I've said about Charlie Kirk, things that I've said about Candace Owens, as if she's revealing something that people did not know. Everybody knows how I felt in the past. It was never a secret. I've never held my tongue when it came to Candace or Charlie. Now, she can't get over the fact that I don't hate Candace, right? We already know she's on TP USA's payroll, right? She can't get over the fact that I don't hate Candace. So she decides to come for me and says that I'm flip-flopping. Let me tell you what a flip-flopping bitch is, right? This is what you're looking at. Because you got a talk show, you got a podcast, whatever. Never, ever, ever has she ever come to her platform one time to talk about the work that we do at Auntie Angie's house, the things that we do to help black women, the things that we do to save black babies, or the things that we do to get black men out of prison. She has never said anything about the work we do, but you gonna hop your big funky ass up on a platform and come for me about a dead white man. And yes, I am talking about Charlie Kirk. And this is why I'm telling you, know the difference in people that are for you and these punk bitches that's getting paid by TPUSA. You ain't stood up for black people. You ain't asked me on your show to talk about black women. You ain't talked about none of the work that we doing, but you gonna get your funky ass up on X and have an issue with my stance when it comes to Candace Owens. And this right here is why we can't get along. And this is another reason why I tell you I do not fuck with the church, because it's bitches like this that's gonna sit up there and use scripture when they want to cap for a white man who wouldn't spit on them if they was on fire. Now I know somewhere in your little brain TPUSA done hyped you up and got you thinking that you gonna be the next Candace Owens. Don't let TPUSA get you tied up. It's some real street shit. Listen, y'all internet warriors, you not really about that life. Don't ever in your life, bitch. You don't know me. You want to go after Candace? Go for Candace. If I want to stick up for Candace, bitch, I can do what the fuck I want to do. I can cap for Candace just like you can cap for a white man who never gave a fuck about you. Now, the best thing for you to do is focus on your husband and them 4 little beautiful babies you got out there in Rockdale County. I'm not the one that you want problems with.
Before we go to Tim Pool, I want to go back to that. I want to play that again because if you don't know Angela Stanton's past, first of all, April's like, she's small. She's a very small person. She's like 5'1", 5'2". Candace. Angela Stanton's like 6 foot, 6'1". She did time. She's serious. She's not scared. This chick who claims to be this Christian, all she does is talk crazy online. And when she said where she's at, I'm like, oh. I think April should sit this one out. I want to play this again because I really love this. This is phenomenal because April is exactly what it's like. The hall monitor getting mad at the athlete. And they finally got them caught in the hall, and they're gonna, I guess, recommend them or yell at them for not having a pass. That's what this is. I don't know why April thought she wanted that. She does not want that. And as soon as she said stay out there in whatever county she's in, I'm like, oh man, I want to hear that again. Sorry, I just thoroughly enjoyed her destroying that little fake Christian.
Well, this bitch right here, April, just got cussed the fuck out. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I am so sick and tired of these fake, phony-ass fucking Christians. Let me tell you something. She called herself calling me out on X, digging up old tweets, posts that I've said about Charlie Kirk, things that I've said about Candace Owens, as if she's revealing something that people did not know. Everybody knows how I felt in the past. It was never a secret. I've never held my tongue when it came to Candace or Charlie. Now, she can't get over the fact that I don't hate Candace, right? We already know she's on TP USA's payroll, right? She can't get over the fact that I don't hate Candace. So she decides to come for me and says that I'm flip-flopping. Let me tell you what a flip-flopping bitch is, right? This is what you're looking at. Because you got a talk show, you got a podcast, whatever. Never, ever, ever has she ever come to her platform one time to talk about the work that we do at Auntie Angie's house, the things that we do to help black women, the things that we do to save black babies, or the things that we do to get black men out of prison. She has never said anything about the work we do. But you gonna hop your big funky ass up on a platform and come for me about a dead white man. And yes, I am talking about Charlie Kirk. And this is why I'm telling you, know the difference in people that are for you and these punk bitches that's getting paid by TPUSA. You ain't stood up for black people. You ain't asked me on your show to talk about black women. You ain't talked about none of the work that we doing, but you gonna get your funky ass up on X and have an issue with my stance when it comes to Candace Owens. And this right here is why we can't get along. And this is another reason why I tell you I do not fuck with the church, because it's bitches like this that's gonna sit up there and use scripture when they want to cap for a white man who wouldn't spit on their motherfucking ass if they was on fire. Now I know somewhere in your little brain, TPUSA done hyped you up and got you thinking that you gonna be the next Candace Owens. Don't let TPUSA get you tied up in some real street shit. Listen, y'all internet warriors, you not really about that life. Don't ever in your life, bitch. You don't know me. You want to go after Candace? Go for Candace. If I want to stick up for Candace, bitch, I can do what the fuck I want to do. I can cap Candace just like you can cap for a white man who never gave a fuck about you. Man. Now, the best thing for you to do is focus on your husband and them 4 little beautiful babies you got out there in Rockdale County. I'm not the one that you want problems with.
What is going on with my camera? What is this? I'm going to leave the studio and come right back in because this is weird. What is going on? It's showing as black. Why? Be right back. Why can't my... All right. That was weird. My camera was black. I apologize. I don't know what that was. But let me pull her back up. Or let me pull the video back up. 25. That was weird. How long was it like that? How long was I off? Not that it matters. You don't need to see my mug, but I wonder how long it was like that. 20. Let's go right here.
Your husband and them 4 little beautiful babies you got out there in Rockdale County. I'm not the one that you want problems with.
All right.
My good friend.
So Tim Pool is a very, very big streamer. Former leftist Bernie bro. I still to this day don't know how he became a voice on the right in conservative movement. He ended up supporting Trump, but actually it was Bernie first, and that he may have done RFK next. Anyway, we're talking about free speech here, and out of nowhere, he started coming after Candace Owens. So he's got his beliefs, he's got his dislikes. I don't care if you like or dislike Candace Owens. I don't like the control of speech. So this is him talking about Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And I want you to listen to this because there's a parallel. This is parallel here. This is a really weird thing that you're going to see right now.
My good friend, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, good friends.
Listen to this.
We got him.
We got
him. They arrested the J6 pipe bomber, and now we can sleep easy. I saw that news, and I said to my wife, honey, it's going to be okay. And that's when I realized we were going places. This country was coming back, baby. A DOJ that was taking these problems seriously. Criminals would no longer go free. And then Pete Hegseth blew up another narco boat, and we cracked the champagne. I hope you're all deeply entertained. Apparently, this guy that they've arrested, everyone's calling Urkel because he looks like Steve Urkel, which no one saw this one coming. There were reports that came out through the Blaze that the individual may be this Capitol Police woman, but she had an alibi. Someone recorded a video of her playing with puppies, which of course proves everything. Although, to be honest, there are now several people saying, yeah, no way, this guy's really the person, and they think this is all a hoax. I don't know. We'll talk about that.
Okay, so that is Tim Pool mocking the federal narrative about the pipe bomber from January 6th. Not only is he mocking the federal narrative, he called out his own friends who are in charge of the FBI, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. I find that interesting because now he's, furious over Candace Owens and her going against the federal narrative and calling out Kash Patel specifically. The parallel is you see him mocking, oh, we got him. I don't believe it. He's literally doing what Candace Owens is doing now, but it's a different topic. So he has no problem with the conspiracies, even when it's ridiculing the exact same feds.
And they think this is all a hoax. I don't know. We'll talk about that.
I don't know. We'll talk about that. So he's okay with the conspiracy theories on one topic. This is the narrative that we're dealing with right now.
Got him. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops.
Let me go back. Because he's mocking that they said we got him, and it's Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, his friends.
Although, to be honest, there are now several people saying, yeah, no way, this guy's all a hoax. I don't know. We'll talk about that.
We got him. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend. The suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. Who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years.
So he's okay with one, actually it's the same person saying we got him. This is different incidents. So when it's a pipe bomb, it's funny, it's a joke, it's whatever. But when they do the exact same thing over this Tyler Robinson thing, which I'm agnostic on whether he did it or not. I'm enjoying watching what's happening because I think the investigation is needed. I don't believe everything I hear, but right now there is a call that if you do believe that Tyler Robinson did it, you're on one camp, and if you don't, you're in another camp. And I want to show you guys what I mean here because this is my timeline, and this is all about free speech. This isn't really about Candace Owens. It's about, here it is. Here it is. Share screen. Oh, I got to pull this one down. Crap, what's the time? 26:47. I got to remember 26:47. So here, everyone is saying, anyone defending the continued reckless actions of Candace Owens has been utterly deceived with the spirit of conspiracy. I didn't know that was a spirit, but okay. She's dangerous and will soon self-destruct. This is non-stop. You have to call her out. Let me see. They're still going. My whole time. This is my entire timeline. Pretends like. Let's see. I'm looking for the condemnation because there's very specific ones, and it's a lot of them. Where is it? People owe Daily Wire, and I don't know why they owe Daily Wire an apology. They destroyed themselves. Certain people need to stop asking questions. Couldn't care less what she has to say. Eventually come across, especially trying blah, 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 blah. I'm looking for the ones. It was tremendous to see her speak out against the ghoulish conspiracists. No, Candace was not in love with Charlie. The narcissist is incapable of love. So this is nonstop. I hope she sues, which she can't. There's nothing to sue over. What you're doing is the equivalent of me finding an 80-year-old woman, cursing her out for no reason. This is just 3 months ago, left this murdered, Charlie Kirk, not Egypt, whatever. So they're all coming out against her, calling her evil. She's evil. The comments she made are worse too. Feel free to save and drop under Candace post. She blocked me, so I can't. I don't know who this weirdo is. Candace is now threatening to dox Charlie Kirk's grave. She didn't. A little black devil. This is weird. This is weird. They're talking about, okay, so they're talking about facts. I don't care if you agree or disagree with her. Anyone still supporting Candace Owens is an enemy of the people. This is what I'm talking about right here. Share your opinions, but once you start doing that, oh, look at this. This is awesome. Virtue signaling. Starve the grift for Charlie, Erica, and her children. Block Candace Owens. You should have did that to start with. But they're trying to tell people you are evil if you believe or support or are okay with this other woman's opinions and what she's doing. And what is she doing? She's speaking. This is speech. People need to leave Erica Kirk alone, show some level of decency. I haven't seen anyone bothering her. Definitely not Candace Owens, not until last night. But she still wasn't bothering her. She was still actually respectful. No one hates Charlie Kirk, his family, his legacy more than Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson do. I don't know where they're getting this. So the reason they're adding him is because he had something to say about what's going on, and they don't want him as part of TPUSA. So they've been trying to get him away for the longest. But now, like, I don't care about stuff like this. They're calling her retarded, telling her to shut up. Here's another one. If you continue to stand with Candace Owens, you are my enemy. So, of course, I said, okay, so now what? We got to fight? Virtue signaling idiot. They are demanding people condemn. And this is fascinating to watch. Look at this. Look at how insane this is. F you if you still support that evil demon psychopath who was openly going after Erica Kirk after she lost her husband with a daily insane BS. I hope it's easy enough for you to understand you're evil just like her, and you're gullible, and you're a low IQ loser. Now, this is the right wing. These are right wing accounts. This is not the left. This is what we used to see a lot on the left. And it's fascinating because that whole tirade there was in response to somebody said, so you're just going with the narrative? Damn, thought you were smarter than that. So they attack and call her evil. This woman here, every time Candace Owens mispronounces a word, she tweets. It's pretty funny. So this is we're used to seeing this with Donald Trump derangement syndrome. There is now a legitimate Candace Owens derangement syndrome, or Candace CDS, Candace derangement syndrome. Candace Owens hated Charlie Kirk, Tim Pool reviews. So it's a really weird thing. If you're on the side of the grifter who has made $15 million, which is, she just made that number up, off the death of Charlie Kirk, over the widow to his 2 children who is trying to honor his legacy, you are morally bankrupt. This is the right wing. Insurrection Barbie, she's a right winger. That's a January 6th term. The right is trying to cast her out. The left doesn't do this. If you notice, Ilhan Omar is still, not only is she still on the left, she's still prominent, and she's still in position. She's still in Congress. She's in the House of Representatives. She's not a senator. Yeah, she's in the House. So it's interesting to me to watch the right try to do what the left will not do. But the wife will start, what they're doing is they'll cast somebody out and then complain about that person after they get rid of them. The left keeps those people and empowers them, and they actually get stronger. Ilhan Omar is stronger now than she's ever been, even with the Somali situation that's going on in Minnesota or Minneapolis. Yeah, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Well, actually, it's the whole state. So Minnesota. She's anti-Semitic. Nobody seems to care about her being anti-Semitic. She gained her citizenship by marrying her brother. Nobody seems to care about that. They fought for her. They won't censure her when she does crazy stuff. Matter of fact, when she called Charlie Kirk evil the day he died, the same right wing that is calling Candace Owens evil didn't do this to her. They wanted her censured in Congress, but they didn't act like this. They didn't call her evil. They didn't say all this. This is weird, to say the least. Candace has gone full evil. I saw it coming, but she's officially crossed over. and I'm learning more and more. Even Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is different. I don't know if I want to address this now or Monday. Yeah, I'll leave it alone. I'll leave him alone. Candace criticized Turning Point for surging monetary growth, and then he if you know who Candace Owens is, you watched her talk about Kamala Harris and get 1 million to 2 million to 3 million views per episode. This was in 2024. She did the Brigitte Macron thing, same thing, millions. She did she's one Epstein Files post, but this is what we're looking at. So why the devil wanted Charlie dead and Turning Point destroyed. He's saying it has to do with that. So again, these people are doing this. They know what they're doing. This is a left-wing tactic, always has been. This is fascism because they're not only trying to condemn her, they're forcing other people to do the condemnation. And it's interesting to watch, but what I'm not going to do is play that game. This is my timeline. This CUNT is out here feasting on Charlie Kirk's effing corpse, like a bedazzled vulture. So what they're doing, we used to call this virtue signaling. The right never did this before, which is why I'm trying to figure out what this is. I don't understand the derangement. There are people who were cool with Charlie, who are cool with his wife, who aren't doing this. But this is beyond fascinating, and I didn't understand it at first. I do understand it now, and that's what I'm going to talk about on Monday. If you're a prominent person on the right side of podcasts, or on the right podcast or influencer, whatever you want to call it, and you're not calling out what Candace Owens is doing, then you are no friend to America, the whole country. You're no friend to Charlie Kirk, and you're no friend to America First movement. Enough is enough. It's a perfect litmus to tell whether you're a good person or not. They are painting anyone who disagrees with them as evil. This is the right wing. This is not the left. This is why I pulled away from the title of conservative. I saw this coming when the whole Ron DeSantis thing was happening. I saw them looking. I saw the red in their eyes. This is what they do because they were okay with Trump. They had no issues with him, and then boom! Once their guy came forward, they turned on him. That's what they're doing right now with Candace Owens. So look at this. Enough is enough. Perfect litmus to tell whether you're a good person or not. If you refuse to talk about it, meaning Candace Owens, and you refuse to stand up for what's right, meaning what I believe, you're not a good person, plain and simple. And yes, I'm talking about you, Tucker Carlson. I'm talking about you, Megyn Kelly. This person is calling them out. It shouldn't have gotten to the point where Erica Kirk has to go on TV and essentially beg people to stop demonizing herself, her family, and Charlie. No one is demonizing her family. She's calling TPUSA her family. This guy has a following. He's a right-winger. All of these people who are doing this are right-wingers. Laura Loomer, she's crazy, so I'm not even gonna do that. Cernovich is kind of staying out of it. He's commenting on the people who are going after Erica Kirk. Candace has never gone after Erica Kirk, so that doesn't apply to her. strip away the theatrics. It's painfully simple. Candace cannot stomach Erica. She's just making up stuff. So what they're saying she does, they are all doing. These aren't people with small following. This lady has 500,000 followers. These are all people on the right. I need you guys to understand this. This is not a right wing or left wing thing. The people on the right are doing exactly what we all were making fun of them doing while they were putting a black square for BLM in their Twitter profiles. We laughed at them. Remember that? I remember it. When people put their, they still do it, when they put their pronouns in their profile. Why would you do that? You just want people to know you're down with the cause. And now here we are on the right. They're not even doing like a gesture. They're outright saying it. I'm good, you're evil, die. I'm not just a woman. Nope, I'm not just a woman, wife, mother calling out Candace. Meanwhile, she's making millions on anyone who calls out her bad behavior. Paid shills. Isn't it ironic? This is the right wing doing this. 76,000 followers. These aren't small accounts. These aren't bots. This is the right wing trying to destroy a person because they don't agree or like what they're saying or doing. And they're calling this other person evil. Look at this idiot. She fell for this. This is hilarious. She's got 100,000 followers. I clown her every day. But Nick Fuentes, is intentionally fanning flames on both sides. And we came up with this joke during the election cycle that Trump could literally cure cancer and the left would be against the cure. Trump could kill a baby and they would not acknowledge it. What Nick Fuentes is doing is proving that. He is making left-wingers post his clips by agreeing with them. He knows what he's doing. So he's calling out Candace. He doesn't care about it. But he's smarter than stupid people because he's forcing the left and the right to post his clips because he's agreeing with me. And look what this dummy says. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So now she hates Candace Owens so much that she's siding with Nick Fuentes, who admits to being racist, who admits to being what we would call misogynist, and she's posting him because she doesn't understand that he's smarter than her, and he's forcing her to do that. She can't help it. Look at an opinion that agrees with me. I have to post it. These people have lost their minds. The link is pinned if anyone wants to come up and talk about this, because I find this fascinating. You may not. I love this. I'm enjoying this. I don't like what they're doing to Candace Owens. I really don't like the implications on free speech. But the right wing going crazy like this. This is interesting. Alaska Bird anti-woke. She's a smaller content creator, so I don't care about her. My bigger interest is the large. Let's see, the large content creators doing this. It did not age well. They've been signaling. Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't even know what this means. This chick is dumb. She doesn't understand the context of that tweet, so I'm not even gonna. Let's see. I don't care about that. Andrew Wilson. So here's what's happening. I'm not going to keep going down this. It's just interesting to me. If you're here's another one. Who's this guy? 25,000. He's not big. He's not small. You're either pro Tucker and Candace or you're sane. You're team sanity. That's it. That's the choice. Look, this is my favorite one. Oh no, that's not it. Dang it. How self-absorbed, arrogant must you be to post something like this? I don't. This guy's a weirdo. Where is it? There's one post that I want to put up first, and then I'll get off of this because I could sit on X all day and look at these crazy people. Not that one. Censor. Is this it? Yep, here it is. All right. Starting a list of everyone boosting Candace Owens as she goes after Erica Kirk. I need you guys to understand what this is. If you watch Game of Thrones, shame, 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 shame. That's what this is. So he's creating a list of people on the right. And this, again, this guy's on the right. And he's got 230,000 followers. Ian Carroll, Russell Brand, Mel, she's a big TikToker. I don't even know who this person is. I don't know who this person is. Adam Media, Ryan Mata, I don't know who that is. Evan Kilgore, I don't know who these people are. But the list is a shame list. And this guy says, what are we supposed to do with the list? I say censor. The right is turning far worse than leftists could have ever been. It's as if they couldn't wait to do this. They're enjoying it way too much. This started with Trump. So at TDS, neocons have been waiting to show themselves. Now it's CDS. Where is it? Because the comments in here are insane. This is the right wing adding people to the list of shame. Dave Smith, Milo, Stu Peters. They're just giving names. Put this on the list. Put this on the list. We need to shame them. The Hodge twins, Jake Shields, Myron Gaines, me, add me. This person here gets it. You guys are creating a censorship list, a list. This is essentially to go after people. The right has never done anything like this. Never done it. Look at it. They're creating pictures. The right wing, not the left. This is the right. And there's some people in here that are calling it out. Hey, didn't the woke left used to make similar Marxist cancel lists like this back before Elon purchased? This is crazy. Look, somebody put, oh, you got to put Satan on there too because he agrees with them. This is a terrifying list. Look at Tucker, Megyn Kelly, Tucker. This is the right wing, a bunch of morons. This is why I don't identify with any of these people. Because look at how fast they can turn. They're just giving names. Hey, we need to cancel this person too. Let's cancel this person too. This is wild. Wild. Anyway, so Tim Pool has gone insane, and you saw him there being a conspiracy theory guy. Let me pull that down. I think I said 26. Let me put on that. 2647. Perfect. Now he doesn't agree with her, so he's doing something completely irrational.
No one hates Charlie more than Candace Owens. Let me say that very, very clearly. I want to say it straight to the camera for all of her biggest fans, and then she can grab this clip and put it on her show. I do think it's absolutely hilarious that we're substantially smaller shows than hers, but she brought us up anyway. So thanks for saying my name, Candace. No one hates.
Already, she never brought him up. He's been criticizing him. He's been poking, trying to get his name mentioned. And that's what everyone's doing. And that's, again, Monday's show, we're going to be talking about that. Because everyone wants to be on this team. They're all doing the exact same thing. They're all virtue signaling. They're choosing a side when there really aren't two sides. They're completely ignoring the left side because they really don't care about any of this. They care about winning. Listen to Tim Pool. Huge guy. There's a weird thing going on with him because now he says he can't run his show anymore. He may have to quit. Oh my God. I have to quit. I can't afford security. And it's Candace Owens' fault. What's up, Lou? It's all Candace Owens' fault. Everything's Candace Owens' fault. All these psychopaths I just showed you on X, this is all Candace Owens' fault.
Did Charlie Kirk more than Candace Owens. She reviles him, she spits on his grave, and she smiles while doing it. Okay, quote over. And I'll say this because Charlie spent his life building out these organizations. Candace is doing everything in her power to tear them down. She hates Charlie. She hates what Charlie built, and she wants it to burn. She hates Charlie's family. She hates Charlie's friends. She's accused them of killing him. She's accused his wife of having knowledge of these events. And then she comes out and says, I never said that. Not in the literal sense, but there's literally no other logical conclusion to what you're saying. So when I look at Colvett and Bowyer and Blake and Erica and the people who work at Turning Point. And I say, you know, maybe they're not handling things properly and they don't know what to do what Charlie was doing. There's fears that Turning Point can't make it without Charlie. All of that is them trying to make Turning Point survive. Candace is advocating you abandon Turning Point USA. It's kind of remarkable to see. But let's just do the logic here. Simple question for all of you. Throw it in the chat. Who do you think cares more about Turning Point? The people trying to salvage and save it, or the woman telling everybody to pull their donations? Then you can ask yourself this. If Charlie were alive...
See what he just did there? Why does anyone have to care about TPUSA? Who do you think cares about TPUSA more? Who cares? They do. What's going on, Henry? What's going on, Lou? So his thought process is already off. His premise is off. What he's arguing is off.
Today, what do you think he'd be saying about all of this? Do you think he would say, I don't trust my wife and my best friends to run my organization? Or do you think he'd be saying, Candace should burn down Turning Point USA? The left has faced no serious repercussions.
Now, mind you, when he did that last little tirade, she had never brought him up. She responded to a couple tweets, but she's never brought him up on her show. Now, look at the direction he's going. Because again, he's of the ilk who believes that she's destroying the right. And I already explained yesterday, or not yesterday, but in the last live, why the right's being destroyed. And I may do it again today just to make that point. But this came out of nowhere.
Yep. The many on the right are now rallying against the victims of the assassination. Could there be a better outcome for the left? Nope. Now, you can make the argument the left didn't kill Charlie, whatever. They celebrated his death. AOC went on the House floor and said he was a bad person no one should celebrate. And instead of saying, guys, we have a political violence problem and it's coming from the left, the conversation on the right, half of it at least, is Turning Point is the murderer. Like, what? They're the victims. They're their organization.
Turning Point is hiding information that people want to know. Nobody said that they're the murderer, but it makes you look suspicious or as if you do have something to do with it if you just don't answer very basic things. Mikey, who were you on the phone with? That was so important you had to be on the phone while your friend was being shot and you still didn't get off the phone. Or you got on immediately afterward. Who were you on the phone with? What's your like? Because you said you called Erica first. Your father said you called him first. Is that who you were talking to? Before Charlie hit the ground, he was on the phone and he never looked back. And he's upright walking while everyone else was ducked and running. That's a very simple thing to say. No. Once I saw blood, I ran back and I knew I had to make, I knew I needed to call Erica. The problem is his father said he called him and Erica said she called him. And then because Candace Owens put together a timeline, you can see the exact times that everyone did this stuff. And it didn't line up with what he said. Who were you on the phone with? Why is that? What is wrong with asking that question? You're not implying anything. You're asking, who were you on the phone with? Now, people like Tim Pool will say, well, she's implying that he was on the phone with a hitman. And they'll create the conspiracy to debunk the conspiracy. It's really, really, really interesting to watch. She's a conspiracy theorist. And then they create a whole conspiracy behind her intent. Remember we were talking about intent earlier with the UK stuff? What she really means to say is this: it's criminal, it's evil. We need to tear her down. Stop talking. That's not the country we live in.
Is the victim in this. So I look at what's going on and it screams op. That so many people are coming out and claiming that Turning Point are the perpetrators of the crime against themselves. Well, if your goal was to destroy the right coalition, you'd take out Charlie Kirk and you destroy his organization. So I look at it like this. I don't care about the intent. That's a meaningless question. I can't read minds. The question is, what is the outcome? So you can complain that someone intends to do something and call them evil. Fine, that was always allowed too. But if we're talking about building a future and winning midterm elections and winning presidential elections and making this country better and securing our border and fixing our grocery price problem, which Trump has not been good on, if we're going to do all of that, we need to have we need to discuss what will the outcome be if this action is taken.
So those issues are her fault. We need to worry about winning elections. Right now, Congress is Republican. The executive branch is Republican. They have the judges in, so they have the judicial branch. Why are you talking about midterm elections when we have the power now? And by we, I mean not the left. Get everything done now. Everything you're talking about, Tim Pool, the grocery prices you're talking about, that you brought up. Actually, they're not as bad, but they could be better. Housing. Why aren't these things being addressed? Why do we have to win the midterm elections to do this when we already won the 2024 election? Been in office since, January. It is December 11th. Why are you talking about next year's elections? Because all they care about is winning. They don't care about getting anything done. Otherwise, it'd be getting done. Immigration they're doing a phenomenal job on, right? That's it. We talked about the Epstein files. We talked about the implications of that and how that's not draining the swamp. That was way, 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 way more important. That was out there in very front. You want to drain the swamp, you may want to start with the pedos. Maybe. We don't want to leave them in office. What's the point of doing that? So you're going to leave the pedos, you're going to leave the pedos in office and not address it, completely ignore it, and blame Candace Owens. Why? What's the point of doing that? How can you blame a woman who has no power, just a voice? How can you blame her? But you're not going to blame the president of the United States for not getting the things done that he said he was going to get done. They released the MLK files. They released the JFK files. They did not fully release these things, so we still don't know what happened. He got shot, and we still don't know what happened with that. Charlie Kirk got shot. They're telling us this is what happened. But if you ask questions, they say, well, you know what? We don't really want to tell you everything because it'll compromise the integrity of the investigation or some nonsense like that. And I'm sitting there saying, well, wait a minute. Then how do we know everything that we know? They're the ones who gave us the information. Is that not compromising the integrity of the election, or not election, of the investigation? I don't know. I'm asking questions. They don't like people asking questions because they say that that's evil. We just went down a whole timeline of them pretending that it's evil to ask questions, and because you're insinuating things, it's a problem. President of the United States is failing at his job right now. I told you guys I would say this. He's failing at his job right now. We're still at war. We're still wasting billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in other countries and their wars, while people here are struggling. I'm blessed. I'm not struggling like that. But there are people everywhere, especially in my home city, that are struggling. What's the point of this? What are we doing? How is this a 35, I think she is, 35-year-old black girl's fault who's asking questions about a dead white man? Just like Angela said, that's what it is. The dead white man. She's asking questions about this guy, and somehow that's destroying the right, and we need to focus on midterms. You're already in office. How about you focus on doing your job? Wouldn't that make more sense?
And the assassination of Charlie Kirk has destroyed the right coalition. And the actions of Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, and others is now destroying what's left of what Charlie built. They're erasing what Charlie built that helped win Donald Trump elections. Really. I don't care about what they claim. I don't care about what Candace says her motivation is. I can't read minds. I can only look at the work people like Ian Carroll, these other smaller podcasters do, and say the only outcome of their action will be to destroy Turning Point, which helps Donald Trump and the Republicans win. The outcome will then be Democrats winning the midterms. And what did Candace say? Do you remember what she said about this? Quote, "We don't care about your midterms." Agreed. So when the Democrats win and they start locking up more lawyers and media personalities, and like Steve Bannon said, he'll be going to prison, then we can say, thank you, Candace Owens, for helping the Democrats win. And if you're a Democrat, you'll say yes. If the
What's the difference between the Democrats being in office and the Republicans being in office right now? What's the difference? They'll open the border back up. Because that's the only thing that the Trump administration is doing right now. We'll still be at war. We'll probably get in a couple more wars. So yeah, that would cost a little bit more money. But why is he acting like that? That's It's a big deal. We survived the Biden administration, and now he's acting like we can't go back to that. Well, what are we doing right now? There's still a worldwide list of pedos out there still doing what they're doing. They're getting away with it. They haven't arrested anybody. Nobody's been arrested. Even with the government corruption, James Comey, Clapper, Brenham, all these people who conspired against the very man who is in office right now, all those people are still free. You're not arresting anybody. And the people you did arrest, Letitia James and James Comey, charges were dropped because you're incompetent. You used the wrong lawyer. The judge literally told that lawyer she needs to find a new career, resign. That's how bad she was. And that's who was put in charge of finding out what happened during the first term when they were going after Donald Trump, and they literally got convictions on the man. So they used legal warfare against a sitting president of the United States. And we're not even going to go after, not a big deal. Let's send some money to Israel so they can kill some Palestinians. That's where we're at right now. This is insane. And in his mind, that's somehow better than if a Democrat gets in office. What difference does it make? So when she says, I don't care about your stupid midterms, they're like, oh my God, she doesn't care about midterms. I don't either. If the vote doesn't change what you guys are doing in office and doesn't prosecute criminals, why would anyone care?
Republicans lose in the midterms, I believe that Candace Owens is wholly responsible. She is one of the biggest podcasts on the right doing everything to go to war with the organization that helped get Trump elected. Turning Point specifically was going out and registering people to vote. Without Charlie, it's in trouble. Turning Point needs to be able to go out and rally young people and register them to vote. And she's doing everything she can to destroy that. And that is going to, I suppose, it's going to rip out the coffers on the right. There is no organization like Turning Point that exists anywhere else that has the resources.
Create it, Tim. Make that organization.
And the reach. And without Charlie, I'm not sure that they can make it. But I can tell you this, Candace lighting a Molotov and throwing it through the window is not helping. And it's the most demoralizing thing ever. Additionally, all of the fucking cowards on the right who are too scared to say anything about her, because she tweets at me talking shit or whatever, and then a bunch of people come and flood our chat. I could give a single flying fuck. You can come and you can burn everything I have to the ground, and I will happily live in a van down by the river. I don't care to be number one. I don't need to be number one. What I care about is what is true and what will help this country and what works. And she is a fucking scumbag, okay? And she's getting worse every day. And she crossed the line. She continually crosses the line every day, insinuating that Turning Point literally killed the guy who made them all rich. And I hear this in the streets, and at a certain point, I'm like, holy shit, we're going to lose the midterms. We're going to lose the midterms. Then we're going to lose in 2028. And it's because she's a piece of shit. Because instead of saying, guys, let's come together and figure out how to work together, she says the stupidest retarded crap. And now everybody's running around divided and broken. For what reason? For literally what reason? Now, guess what? I'm not on the best of terms with Turning Point either. In case you didn't remember, they didn't invite us this year, and it's become a big thing or whatever.
This is what it's all about. He did a full show on the numbers and how she's got us a large platform. So he does care about her numbers. He doesn't even like TPUSA. He just knows that they're important to get votes. That's all they care about is votes. That's literally all this guy cares about. She never said anything about him, really, until he started going at her. And he's mad that she responded and she made him look stupid and she clowned him. Get over it. You're the one who started. You can't start a fight and then cry when somebody responds. And that's what she did. She didn't even do a really bad response to him. She humiliated and laughed at him and called him a little man. And look at how mad he is. Over what? What are you so mad about? You voted for Bernie Sanders in socialism, and now you're acting like you're this big conservative voice of reason. Candace Owens must die. Like, what are you doing, dude?
If nothing, I can say I know what they are, I know what they do, and I'm glad they do it. And if we don't get along, so be it. I don't know that they make it without Charlie, whatever. But what is the purpose of intentionally fanning the flames for 3 endless months of just nonstop retard shit? Candace, holy crap. You know, initially in the beginning, she brought up some interesting things. New photos had emerged, and I said, wow, I even said this to Andrew Colvett at Turning Point at the beginning of October. Now she's at the point where it is video after video where she's saying it's an inside job. She's saying like, there's a video of the dude, Mikey McCoy, grabbing his phone and making a phone call, and she's acting like that's weird. And then you get this other guy who's claiming that the business is a parking lot. Well, he full well knows business can be registered anywhere. To be fair, it's not only just Candace and saying what she's saying. It is all of these people who are like piranhas ripping the right to shreds. And you know what? A lot of cowards on the right being unwilling to say anything about it.
One of the easiest things in the
So this is her destroying him, and you're going to see why he's so mad. And she does it. It's smooth. It's real smooth. And it's real, like, it's direct, but the sharpness of the jabs are just like, oh, man. It's like, man. Just listen to this.
world is to be a critic of Candace Owens and a part of the people who do not have the courage to prod this federal narrative. Among those, of course, being Tim Pool, who has now dedicated hours and now is trying to signal to the public that I don't have security, which is untrue, but he is trying to get me harmed. I don't know what I've ever done to Tim Pool to deserve that at all, but Tim Pool has had some very choice words from me, which were trending last night on X, and I would like to share that to you because he thinks it's an act of bravery to attack me in this moment. So take a listen to Tim Pool.
Before we watch this, look at her demeanor. She's just like, now look at his demeanor.
Candace Owens is a fucking evil scumbag. She is a degenerate cunt. She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you fucking told me? She has no security. She doesn't fucking deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer. And all of these fucking conservatives out there that send me these fucking messages have no fucking balls to call her out. More and more people have started doing it. They send me these fucking messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't fucking DM me like I did something for you as you fucking cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which he's doing to me right fucking now.
Yeah, that was the...
So she put him on a thumbnail, and this is his response. And he's gone crazy. Because now he says, like I said earlier, he says he's going to quit. He's got to quit. Because he can't afford security anymore because she put him on a thumbnail. What did she put you on a thumbnail? So he says that his home was shot at, or not even shot at, that somebody shot around one of his homes. He wasn't there. That's not, he was trying to sell it or something like that. Something along those lines. Whatever happened, it sucks, right? So how does this change anything when you've been calling her evil for 2 weeks before this happened, or a week before this happened? What do you think happens to her? He can't afford security now, so he said that the income is not justifying the income from the product is not justifying the costs that it costs to do this product, which is his podcast. Okay, that's called a failed business. That's what happens. But you can clearly see the pressures on him, and all she did was put him. This is before she ever said a word about this man. She put him in a thumbnail, and look at how crazy he went.
I'm fucking done with these people.
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two fucking shits. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a shit about her security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my fucking property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got fucking strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who trying to live there. How the fuck am I even supposed to sell this property?
So when she said she had a threat against her, he said she was lying. And he's still saying she's lying. But now he wants us to believe his story. While he's saying she's lying about being threatened, which she's 10 times bigger than he is. He's saying that he's under more of a threat than her. And he really believes that. She said the whole government is after her. And he came up with this story, and it may be true. I mean, I don't really care, to be honest with you. But watching him go crazy because she put him in a thumbnail, and he picked the fight. This little guy, he picked the fight. And he can't handle a 35-year-old woman. She didn't even, before she said a word, she did a thumbnail with him on. And he wasn't even the full thing. There was other people on it. He was just one of the people, and he's gone crazy. She broke him.
And you know, it's all lies. It's all hypocrisy, and it is for the purpose of making money. And she does not live the way other people live. And she claims she liked Charlie, she loved Charlie, and she is burning everything down that he built because she is evil. She is evil. And I'll say it again, this conservative movement is fractured, it's fried, whatever it is.
It's all
Okay.
her fault.
Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered. And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history. And thanks to the likes of the vile cunt Candace Owens, she has turned Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them.
So there's a lot to unpack there. First and foremost, what you are seeing right there is not a display of testosterone. Men that speak to women like this are not tough guys, okay? What you are seeing is actually a display of estrogen. Everything he is doing there is somebody who is not a man, he is not tough, and he would never dare to speak to a man like that, right? People that find that very easy. Secondly, Tim Pool doesn't even have the intellect to understand that we put him in the thumbnail because he accused me in a full episode with Milo Yiannopoulos, which we showed and contextualized, of being someone who benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination. So he thinks he's being accused. No, you accused me of that in like a actually, I think it was 2-hour episode with Milo Yiannopoulos, in which Milo defended me and explained that I am not to blame for the lame excuses that the feds have given us regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. And that if we do need to have some spiritual searching in terms of what the Republican Party has become, that the time for that is now. Okay. So this little, and I really like, he's a small person for this, a very small person who is also theatrical, Timothy Smollett, who pretends every year like people are trying to kill him. He's a chronic fence sitter, okay? Pretending like he is braving the
Hold on. Call him Timothy Smollett. So after this, he really went crazy. And I don't have that because that was over the last couple of days. So she's systematically destroying him, and calmly. He can't do that. So yeah, if you want the truth, you're evil. It doesn't matter. I just want to know. So the truth very well may be the narrative that they put out, right? It's totally possible. I just want to know, is that the narrative? Is it true that the 30-06 did that to that man's neck? She's slicing this dude. I mean, this is like, it's not even like a machete. This is X-Acto knife. It's real. Just throwing little jabs, saying it's estrogen. He would never talk to a man like he's talking to a woman. Timothy Smollett.
being someone who benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination. So he thinks he's being accused. No, you accused me of that in like a actually, I think it was 2-hour episode with Milo Yiannopoulos, in which Milo defended me and explained that I am not to blame for the lame excuses that the feds have given us regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. And that if we do need to have some spiritual searching in terms of what the Republican Party has become, that the time for that is now. Okay. So this little, and I really like, he's a small person for this, a very small person who is also theatrical, Timothy Smollett, who pretends every year like people are trying to kill him. He's a chronic fence sitter, okay? Pretending like he is braving the wilderness for being what? The 110,000th person who's making a video about Candace Owens in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. He thinks he's pioneering that. Are you out of your mind? It's only the safest thing you can do. What's next? Is he going to make a video and call Kanye West anti-Semitic? Like that's what he's pioneering right now. Oh my gosh, so original. Like, is he going to call Donald Trump evil in 2016? This is the storm that he's braving, is jumping on the side of what everyone else is doing. He is a fundamentally weak man for what he did there. He should apologize. He won't. I don't care what happens to his platform. He's now essentially trying out because he's under financial pressure. He's trying out for Zionists to pay him, and they will. Okay, they will cut him a check. And I hope it happens for you, Tim. I hope it makes you happy. But to do that to someone who has never done anything to you other than disagree with you about the Charlie Kirk narrative, I have not focused my content on you. And anytime your name has come up, it has been because you have explicitly been attacking me. You are a coward. You are less than a man. Okay, you are behaving. Your type right there is like a person who's having financial issues and yet decides to go out and put 100K on a poker game. And when he loses and is a further 100K in the hole, comes back home and beats his wife and kids and thinks he's a tough guy. That's how you're acting right now. I'm not your wife. I'm not your kids. Get your affairs in order and stop blaming me, because I'm actually traversing down the path that hasn't been traveled by standing up and saying that something corrupt happened and Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I don't care about your midterms. Okay. I don't care about your next year midterms and whether or not the Republican Party is united. Okay. Because I don't want to stand next to people that would cover up Charlie Kirk's assassination. I hope that I have made my point perfectly clear.
Oh, you made it clear. Made it real clear. People think they want it until it happens. And then they realize, I didn't want this. So when she said that about the type of person he is that would bet the 100K lose and then come home and beat his wife, he got so mad that they went on. I mean, they said she was accusing him of being a wife beater and all this stuff. Nobody cares about any of that. You called her evil. You said she tried, or you said she's spitting on her friend's grave. All that stuff is insane. So when she responds, they all went crazy and they say, "Oh, this is further proof why she's evil." Yeah, Jay, if you were in here earlier, I talked about this and I showed the Twitter timeline right now is all people on the right, everyone on the right calling for everyone else to condemn her because she's attacking Erica. This is all speech. This is all free speech, and they're trying to get rid of it. But the craziest part is this used to be the left. This has never been what the right does. Never. And I'm glad I distanced myself from all this nonsense because I saw this coming. When you're celebrating the president being arrested in the mugshot and you're on the right, I knew what they were capable of doing. I didn't know they were going to go this far. Like they're literally making lists of anyone who agrees with Candace Owens. They need to be on the list, like Chris Jericho, where people actually supposed to get fear or I don't know what's supposed to happen to them when they get on this list. But to me, that's a threat. That's how I would take it. There's no other way for me to take that. You just threatened me. Why'd you put me on this list? What do you think you are? Because if you see me, that's not going to be the case. Can't be. You would not do this in person. So why are you doing this online? What is this? So yes, this is what it's all the same people, which is fascinating, right? Because this is what we know the left to do. When they threw out a couple people on the left, but not many. Al Franken got kicked out, never really recovered. Kevin Spacey got canceled. He was not really a political figure, but their cancel culture, they created this. We laughed at them. We mocked them because it's funny. If anyone wants to hit the link, the link's already dropped. It's funny, right? Why should we ever expect our side to do this? And then when it happens, why aren't more people saying, no, not raise your hand. We shouldn't be doing this. This is not cool. We're calling Tucker Carlson the devil now. He's Satan. Like the nicest guy who's ever been on TV is Satan. Is that what we're doing here? But instead of saying that, they're saying, yeah, add this person to the list. And I'm like, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't like this. This is ugly. This is Tucker Carlson. Even through all this, gotta be the nicest guy. Where's my history? This is Tucker Carlson on this very issue because he feels like he's stuck in between. But they're mad because he won't condemn. That's all they want to do. They need condemnation. I don't know why. They just need it. We have to speak out against this evil woman. Let's pause that. Share screen. Holy crap, it's been over 2 hours. All right, I'm almost done. This is Tucker. Make this bigger. And play.
In the 3 months since Charlie Kirk was murdered, I've really tried not to comment on the murder investigation in public. And it's not because I don't care, of course. I love Charlie and knew him well since he was a teenager. But I haven't said anything about it. I really tried not to say anything about it. First, because I don't really know anything that everyone else doesn't know. I've asked around, but of course, how do you know what the truth is? But the other reason I haven't said anything is because I know personally a number of the people involved in what's now become a very large story. I know them really well. And I really think a lot of all of them on every side. Candace Owens, I've known a long time. I love Candace Owens. Blake Neff at TPUSA once worked for me at a couple of different places. And I love Blake Neff. Erica Kirk, I've known since she was dating Charlie Kirk. And I love Erica Kirk. And I think these are all really, really decent people. And so it's been my desire for 3 months not to get involved in any of this. And in general, to think to myself, anybody who is earnestly searching for the truth, whether they're right or wrong, but as long as they're motivated by a desire to find out what happened and therefore honor Charlie's memory by getting to justice, anyone who's doing that, I'm not going to criticize. Again, no matter what track they're on, lots of us, and this has certainly happened to me, have good moments, but good motives, but wind up in the wrong place. But it's a sincere mistake. So that
this is what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about intent. I don't care about intent. And he's saying, you know, there are people who are making good faith efforts to figure something out. Um, the people who don't like them will cast an intent on it. Oh, they're evil. They're trying to tear down TPSA. I don't want to hear that. I just want to hear what they're saying, and then I can say, I don't agree, or I disagree, or I agree, and we can go from there. But I don't like automatically assuming somebody's got negative intent. Positive intent, no issues with. No, it's the negative intent that I don't want to hear that. You can't, unless you can prove that, which I don't see how you would. I don't.
Definitely happens. I have done that, and so I just wanted to stay out. And then the other day, I had like a 3-hour conversation with Theo Vaughn, and it was not about Charlie Kirk or anything related to it, but that topic came up. And I said, in effect, you know, I don't trust the FBI. And that gave some people the impression that I was, you know, accusing them of being involved in Charlie's assassination. And of course, I wasn't, and I certainly didn't mean to. But it gives me the chance now to say what I think, which is that we should not necessarily trust the FBI. And by the way, why would we? It's not an attack on, you know, the political leadership of it. I've known Dan Bongino, for example, for a long time, and like Dan, and don't imagine he would ever be involved in intentionally covering up a murder of somebody. I don't believe that. But Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, for that matter, are at the top of the org chart, but this is a huge organization, and parts of it act independently from leadership. That's the nature of bureaucracy. So saying, well, I like Dan Bongino and don't think he would do something wrong on purpose, which is how I feel, doesn't mean that I trust the FBI or have to trust the FBI. And again, why would I? If there's one lesson of the last election, the 2024 election, it's that a lot of our biggest systems, our biggest institutions have rot in them, and that needs to be reformed. And as if we needed more proof of it, we'd learned what a lot of us suspected for years, that January 6th was in effect a setup, and the FBI was key to that setup. And it's still not clear that everyone involved in that setup at the FBI has been fired or punished for that. So no person, no American is under some moral obligation to believe everything the government tells you, particularly institutions or agencies that have a long documented, factually documented track record of committing crimes, participating illegally in our political system, for example, as the FBI has done, manufacturing crimes, setting people up, distorting justice. That's the opposite of their job, of course, which is to get to justice through facts and then to tell the rest of us how they arrived at this conclusion, to prove to the rest of us that the right people are being punished. So we're not under any obligation. Of course, we shouldn't like invent theories to discredit the FBI, but it's not enough to have government officials tell us, well, this is the truth. We have a right, probably an obligation to say, well, can you prove it? And if you can't, I don't have to believe you. So there's one thing that bothers me about.
And before he continues, it's even worse than that, because they don't require proof from the federal government. They require proof from Candace Owens for asking a question. And it's like, all right, so you're fully in on the government's narrative, but when somebody questions it, you want to know the proof of the question, which is really weird, but that's what they do. They're weird. I don't understand that, because this is the right. We just watched. I mean, going back to Obama's IRS scandal, what was the gun scandal? Oh, crap, I can't remember the name of it, but Fast and Furious. We know the government does stuff and tries to cover it up, and they only admit it when they're wrong. But so here we have the entire right wing, and these were things that were done against the right, the spying on the president himself, the shooting of the president, like literally he got shot in the ear, and we still don't know what happened. So by definition, that's a cover up, because there's no way you don't know what happened. They've done full hearings on this. In the Senate and the House, they've done full hearings on this, and we still don't know what happened. You know who released the information on it? Tucker Carlson. Why does he have to be the one to expose that? If you guys don't know, the guy who shot Trump in the ear last year, June or whenever that was, he did have a digital footprint. Remember what the first thing they said? He had no online presence. So Tucker Carlson did an actual investigation and found out that he did, and he had a lot of online presence. We didn't know that. So who lied to us? The federal government. But now we're supposed to just sit there and accept the federal government's narrative.
Of all about the investigation into Charlie Kirk is that is getting lost as people argue over what happened. We are potentially letting our largest federal law enforcement agency off the hook. It is the job of the FBI to find out what happened and to tell the rest of us, not hide behind, well, it's national security, confidential sources. No, tell us what happened. Show us what happened. Convince us what happened. That's your job. And we shouldn't accept anything less. And by the way, when we do accept something less, then, new explanations fill the vacuum left by the FBI, which we pay to explain to us what happened. And so I'm going to really do my best not to talk about things I don't understand, state things as though I know them when I don't know them. I'm going to do my best to stay out of it because I love Charlie and I want justice to be done in this case. But the rest of us should remain skeptical. We have a duty to remain skeptical, and we should not be ashamed of our skepticism. Thanks.
And what's interesting about that is that's why, well, I was just showing you guys my X feed. That's why people are saying he's a coward and people need to stand up, and they're trying to force and shame and guilt people into and destroy people who won't step up and speak out against her. They're not even addressing the claims. They just say, oh, that claim's ridiculous. But this is how bad it is right now. Look at, this will be the last thing. I promise this will be the last thing. In this post, this guy, pull it up. I'm going to make this one big. That's good. Yeah. In this post, this guy this is how much they hate Candace Owens. This is the post. Let me pause this. This is wild. So this post is mocking Candace Owens for saying, and she was actually mocking, saying, oh, you guys are saying that Tyler Robinson was Spider-Man and he climbed up onto the roof. So in order to prove that he wasn't Spider-Man, as you can read right here, Candace Owens said you have to be Spider-Man to climb the roof at the school. This guy decides, I'm going to prove her wrong. That's how much I hate her. And this idiot chick shared it. She's got 80-something thousand followers, right? She shared this as proof that you don't have to be Spider-Man. And I'm going to show you guys my response to this because it's hilarious.
Well, here's footage from when I went to UVU. Let me show you exactly how much of a Spider-Man you have to be to get on this roof. It's insane. All right, folks, so here's the stairs that go to the roof. Wow.
But this is even funnier because it said obviously the fence is new, so there wasn't fencing here, right? So obviously the fencing wasn't there when Charlie got shot, right?
This wall is about maybe 3 feet tall.
Oh, cool. That's
all
where
right. So right there is the shooting position. It's about 200 feet away from there. All
right. So that's them, stupid people, trying to prove that Charlie wasn't Spider-Man. They missed the more important point, which of course I had to point out. Nothing's funnier than someone doing a stunt because they hate someone else so bad that they prove her right on accident. Charlie Kirk's security needs to be investigated for what looks like the easiest breach I've ever seen. And this is even according to the people who hate Candace Owens. So they're trying to prove that she's stupid and that we're supposed to believe that security did not cover this. So they're sitting there. He just showed how bad her security is that was getting paid millions of dollars. They could not cover this? He literally proved Candace Owens right on her theory that security either sucked or was complicit. They allowed this to happen. Millions of dollars in security. They allowed somebody to walk right here where they're showing. And in their minds, we're proving Candace Owens wrong because she said something stupid. But the overall point was how bad security was. And then how can it be so bad if he paid them millions of dollars? And you know what their reason was for not covering these stairs? The school campus said that they were going to cover them. No matter how many security guards you get, You couldn't fly a drone over there because you said, well, the school, you know, they said that they had drones and they didn't know how to operate them. Well, the school, they said that they're going to cover the roof. So why should we walk up, what, 15, 20 stairs? This is how bad his security was. Their security did the exact same thing that the Secret Service did when Trump got shot. They didn't even think that the closest roof to the target should be looked at. To me, this idiot, this chick here, idiot, thought she was making a great point. Haha, look how easy it was to get up there. Yeah, okay, well, you accidentally made another point. And you're still making the point for Candace. And since nobody hit the link, I'm going to get out of here. They're blinded. They don't want people to speak. And then when you speak, they want to destroy you. That's what this is. And we just saw in UK, it's a crime to say certain words. You will go to jail. And apparently that's what they want here, because in the court of X opinion, you get put on a list if you don't have the right opinion. And it's the right wing doing it. It's not the left. This is the right wing doing this. So you're never going to hear me only talk about the liberal and the leftists, because it's not just them anymore. It's everyone. It's the tribes. Somebody said something about tribalism. Who said that? There it is. That's what this is. Seems to me that a lot of people can't think for themselves. People are inherently tribal. That's what this is. Everyone is to blame for this. Everyone, except the people asking questions, because if you're asking questions, you probably shouldn't be trying to implicate yourself. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. Somebody said something about journalism. Welcome, Jay Youngblood. You have great questions, logical, and you're making perfect sense. Like, this is what journalism used to be. They would literally say, you would have somebody come to your organization, your newsroom or whatever, and say, you know what? I ate some Frosted Flakes and I found a rat in my Frosted Flakes, or a mouse, a dead mouse. And then they would go in and they would look, and then they would ask questions, and then they would sneak in to a store and they would check different boxes. They would buy 100 boxes of Frosted Flakes, and then they would go to Kellogg's and they would ask questions. Like, this is what journalism is. Kellogg didn't have the right to say, whoa, what are you guys accusing us of something? What is this? Are you saying we put the mouse in there? No. We're asking questions. That's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Just asking questions. But there's a reason we're asking the question. See, this person came to me and said there was a mouse in their box of cereal. I don't know if it's true, but I need to know if it's possible. And if it's possible, I need to get to the bottom of this. Are you going to help, or do I have to do this on my own? Kellogg can decide, no, we're not going to. We don't have anything to do with it. We investigated this already. Don't ask any questions. This is what we're looking at. Don't ask any questions. What do you think this is? So we're sitting here while Candace Owens is asking questions, and we're doing this exact same thing. The exact same thing. Why are you doing this? I told you that there was no mouse in there. Matter of fact, I have proof that there was no mouse in there. We have these different protocols to prevent mice from getting in our vats of Frosted Flakes. That's not good enough. It's never going to be good enough. And the minute that becomes good enough, we end up with laws against us asking if it's good enough. And that's a problem. What's up, G. Will?
Much to say on this whole issue. This is your you going off on your thing with the with everything going on with Candace Owens, man. I'm gonna let that one, people out here just following, other folks and trying to condemn this woman for her content because, for whatever reason they're doing it for. I literally came on here because you wore the hoodie.
G. Will made this hoodie for
That's the old logo, man. Hold on. Let me cam up real quick. Hold on. I gotta send you the stuff
nice,
with the new logo, bro.
Nice. That's the new logo.
Yeah, I gotta send you your polos with the new logo. Hold on.
I haven't worn it because it hasn't been cold. We're finally in the weather where I can wear it. So I was like, sweatshirt.
You know out here it get cold. You know, people think California is all sunshine and stuff until they come up where I live and they're like, man, it's 12 degrees outside. What's up? But you know, we got the other one too.
Cool.
There, but yeah, I gotta send you your polos, man. They've been sitting here for too long, so I gotta get those out probably this week. But
yeah. So G Will does that. Hold on, I got your IG. G Will makes clothes and does stuff like that. Where is it? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, but I was literally sitting there. I was like, he wore the hoodie. I was like, all right.
It's finally cold. It's finally cold enough to wear.
Yeah,
so this is what G Will does. That's his company, CashApp t-shirts, embroidery. Well, you say what do you do?
No, man. If I can put something on it, I do. I decorate stuff. That's what I do. So you can see here, I got, you know, stuff around me, heat presses, embroidery machines there, embroidery machine, some thread, some embroidery machines over there, my hoops all around me, you know, just out here trying to make some money. Shoot,
support a black business, a light skinned business. Support
a black business. Stanley Cup logo on the Stanley Cup. Shoot, on my hoodie on the back, I can't even show you. I got right. I embroidered my whole face on my hoodie on the back.
Why does it reverse?
Wait, hold on, wait. It's upside down. It's upside down, but I embroidered my face on my hood.
That's funny.
But yeah, so that's always a conversation starter when I'm out because they see my face. Like, is that your face? Yes, it is. You know. So hey, I appreciate that, Lou. What up, though? Love my cats in Detroit, from Detroit. So that's all I came up here. I was just surprised you had the hoodie on, man. That's all. Put a smile on my face today.
It's finally getting chilly, man. We're until December, but it was too hot, man. Dude, it gets hot in this room that I'm in too. I don't know why it's so hot.
Because you ain't got there ain't no windows, no nothing in that room, man.
There is. Yeah, there is.
Oh, I thought that.
There's ventilation, good ventilation here.
I thought you was in the theater room.
Yeah, I am.
And there's windows?
I got one window. I got a window. It's in the
front. Man, I'm gonna tell my brother out there in Houston they gave you a window. They didn't give him one.
You had a choice. You could choose when you're building these homes. Really, you could do a lot. It was cool. It was an option. So anyway.
But anyway, I'm gonna let you get back to your content, man. I just like.
Oh, you see what Mel put?
Nah, what he put?
I hope you get connected with your local high schools. They're always looking for discounts no.
Let me explain to you something about the high school. The last high school that called me wanted 500 shirts, Mel. And when I told them my price, they were like, "That's too much. We don't want to do it." They said that they could get their shirts for $6 a shirt. So I told them, well, that sounds like a great price. Go ahead and get them. They called me back 2 weeks later when they got the shirts and was like, "Can you still do the shirts? Because these shirts are terrible." So they ended up paying twice for shirts. And if they would have just went with me the first time, man. Right now I'm working on the boxes that you see behind me over here. There's a whole lot of boxes in my storage room. Those are 2,200 shirts for law enforcement department out here in LA County. So, you know, trying to stay busy, Mel. But yeah, these high schools, man, they want something for nothing. And you know, the way my bank account work, I can't do something for nothing, bro.
Yep, they probably were the wrong fabric. So you get what you pay for. That old saying is real. You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. And anytime somebody tells me that my price is too high and they found it cheaper, I'm like, well, you know, go ahead and use those people and God bless you. My church did the same thing. I go to this church, been to this church for 20 years. My own church did the same thing. Had somebody do some search for them, and now I'm in charge of all shirts at my church because of how bad the shirts were that these people did. So yeah, that's just, you know, I let them. I will let you learn. You're gonna learn today. That if you want quality, you're gonna pay for it. So, all right, man, I'm gonna cam down. I'm gonna get down from off here, man. I just wanted to come in because you put a smile on my face today. So I'll talk to y'all later, chat. It's always a pleasure. You guys are the best, man. Love all y'all.
All right, Mel Dub, thank you for stopping in, man. Lou, thank you, sir. Jay Youngblood, I don't know if I've seen you before, but welcome. Or thanks for coming back. If you have been in before, I don't remember seeing you. But G Will, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. I put that link in there if you guys need any of that kind of work. That's his name on IG. Let's see. He spelled Whitney Houston wrong on a t-shirt. I saw a birthday cake. It might have been one of my father's birthday cakes. What did they spell wrong? They spelled something wrong that was hilarious. It was like a basic word, and I'm like, oh, it was a Walmart cake. That's what you get. That's what you get. Anyway, Uncle L, thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate you as always. Day one, Uncle L. Even EJ stopped in to peek in, probably to see what he can clown. Henry Caldwell, appreciate you, man. As always, thank you, sir, for coming in. Phoenix Rising. Miss Eve, thank you. Arabia Barbosa stopped in. Spare me your angst over on Rumble. What's the name over on crap? Charlie Kirk's wife over on Twitch. Jonathan Swift over on Twitch. True Essence, welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you guys. Mike Levin, as always. I wonder why people can't change. Can you guys change your names back? Why is it showing your URL handle instead of your username, or not your username, but your screen names? That's weird. Anyway, I appreciate that. Thanks, Jay. Lester, appreciate you, man. Just Jay, favorite. Well, I won't say favorite. She's one of my top mods. She's the bomb. Love Just Jay. And I think that's everybody. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Monday's going to be really good because I'm going to explain the psychology of what Candace Owens, of her and the people who hate her and of the people who love her. I got it. I finally figured out. It took me a minute, and maybe Mel will be for that. We'll be here for that one too. That's going to be a really good one. Really good, because I even it's not just Candace Owens. Nick Fuentes, the famous racist, is doing the exact same thing, and they are embracing it. And we need to understand this. You should not get so charged online where you got me laughing at you. Like, I've literally done several tweets, for lack of a better word, of just laughing at people going crazy. I don't. They're unhinged. Actually, let me show one because it's hilarious. Look, so if you're on X and you're even somewhat to the right, you know who Cat Turd is. It's a funny name, but I believe Candace Owens has broken Cat Turd. That's funny to even say. But this is Cat Turd. Let me get in there. This he's. Oh, Miss Genesis, thank you. I forgot about. How did I miss you? I apologize. I said the other day I was going to make you a mod just to make you mad. So this is Cat Turd. Very, very, very large X account. It's a funny name, but let's see. This person has 4 million followers. So if you don't know who that is, that's a right-wing person. Whoever it is, I think they've ever been doxxed, but I don't want any part of that. But the funny part is, F you, if you still support that evil demon psychopath who is openly going after Erica Kirk after she has lost her husband with the daily insane BS. I hope that's easy enough for you to understand. You're evil just like her, a gullible, low IQ Loser, is that clear enough? And I said this earlier, but this is cat turd. My response, and this is what it's going to be to all of these people, just laughing. She broke you. Like, why is he or she so invested that they're going crazy like this? You can't allow yourself to get triggered, people. It's speech. Even with the N-word online, it's speech. In front of somebody, hey, you can make them pay for those words if you want. You need to weigh the consequences. And in some cases, you may be justified. But if you really think about it, it's just words. That old saying, Gw, I think, said earlier, sticks and stones, that's real. It really is real. But if you let somebody get you this mad, you lost. Even if it wasn't her intention to get, and I know it's not her intention to get cat turd mad. She doesn't care about cat turd. There's no reason you should be that invested. It's speech. It's speech. She broke him. She did the same thing to Tim Pool. I've never seen, now I've seen him yelling and acting like a child before because he is very dramatic. I love that she called him Timothy Smollett. That was hilarious because he really does act like he tries to be Alex Jones. He's trying to be the young Alex Jones. And we all knew that he was a leftist. That's what he is. So anyway, with that said, everybody, I appreciate you all. Let's see. What song did I play coming in? I want to play the same one going out. Crap. Anyway, that QR code up there is Cash App if you guys want to bless the channel. Otherwise, you don't have to do anything. I'm just happy that you guys are here. I appreciate you all, and I am gone.